to the September 15, 22 meeting of the Southampton Town Zoning Board of Appeals. This meeting is being held live and is also being held via video conferencing in accordance with the Town Board's enactment of Local Law Number 14 of 2022, adopted on May 24, 2022. Our next meeting and those following will be held in person here at Town Hall, and will also continue to allow for remote participation, so we ask you to continually check the town's website for updates and any new information. If you wish to view tonight's live meeting only, please do not join the Zoom meeting and instead go to the town's website. With that, I'd ask that you join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. For those of you who are here with us tonight in person, in case of an emergency evacuation, please exit through the rear doors of this room to one of the staircases across the hall and continue downstairs and out through the main entrance. Please do not attempt to use the elevators during an emergency evacuation. In case of a medical emergency, the automated external defibrillator and first aid kit are both located in the hallway on this floor opposite the elevator. Restrooms are located across the hall. We will be starting this meeting with the public hearings. We have applicants and members of the public here with us live and also standing by via Zoom webinar, which is being moderated by CTV. Please silence your cell phones and refrain from speaking to one another in the boardroom as it interferes with the recording. Tonight, we also have board member Helen Burgess participating remotely. CTV will mute the speakers on Zoom until it is their time to give testimony before the board. Please be patient. If you find that you are having difficulties accessing the hearings, please visit the town clerk's meeting portal and click on the instructions link. A reminder that applicants, agents, and members of the public speaking, other than attorneys, will be sworn in, will state their address for the record, and will offer their testimony as it relates to the application before the board. Unless otherwise stated at the end of each hearing, all of these applications will remain open for written comments for all purposes until a date to be announced after the hearing. Those comments can be addressed to the board secretary, Candace, and sent via email, mail, and/or dropped off at Town Hall. With that, I'd ask for a motion to approve the minutes of our last meeting.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Tuthill.
Aye.
Ms. Kern.
Aye.
Mr. Daly.
Aye.
Mr. Macedonio.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Minutes are approved, and now we'll go on to adjournments.
Okay, on the agenda, item 7 on the agenda is going to be adjourned to our November 17th meeting.
Second.
Mr. Tuthill.
Aye.
Mr. Daly.
Aye.
Ms. Kern.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess.
Aye.
Mr. Macedonio.
Aye.
Chair votes aye.
Item 8 on the agenda, I'll move to adjourn that to our January 5th meeting, 2023.
Second.
Mr. Tuthill.
Aye.
Mr. Daly.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess.
Aye.
Ms. Kern.
Aye.
Mr. Macedonio.
Aye.
Chair votes aye.
We've been hearing 9, 10, and 11 altogether, so I'll make one motion to adjourn 9, 10, and 11 to our October 20th meeting.
Second.
Mr. Tuthill.
Aye.
Mr. Macedonio.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess.
Aye.
Ms. Kern.
Aye.
Mr. Daly.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, and that's the Tertunian applications and production holding.
Item 13 on the agenda, I'll move to adjourn that to our October 20th meeting.
Second.
Mr. Tuthill.
Aye.
Mr. Daly.
Aye.
Mr. Macedonio.
Aye.
Ms. Kern.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, and that is the Fisher Organization, LLC.
And on the decision calendar, Grace Amass Clark, Lee Skolnick, Philip Patel, and Scott Schlachter. I'll move that they will be on the agenda for decision on our October 6th meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Okay, 142 Town Point LLC, I'll move to reopen that to accept written submissions.
Second.
Mr. Tudhill.
Aye.
Mr. Macedonio.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess.
Aye.
Ms. Kern.
Aye.
Mr. Daly.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, reopened.
And just for 1 second, Keith, Susan had asked me to just remind the board, because we did get this yesterday or today, we're reopening this application to get the written submissions from the building inspector. Marge had compared, they had revised plans, even when we had them before us, they had revised their plans. They revised them further. Marge had summarized the request for relief, which just changed slightly. They reduced the pyramid encroachment to like 763.1 cubic feet. They had moved the pool so that the pool is no longer within the minimum required side, but it still is within the required total side yard setbacks. And they had moved the porch out of the required front yard as well. So there still are variances required, but they had made some accommodations for
Are we
neighbors.
prepared to issue a determination this evening?
Yes, it's prepared.
Okay, we accept the written subs, and I'll move for a determination later this evening.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
The Paul Lane Trust, move to reopen that to accept written submissions.
Second.
Mr. Tudhill.
Aye.
Mr. Macedonio.
Aye.
Mr. Daly.
Aye.
Ms. Kern.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, reopened.
Okay, back to the beginning of the agenda.
Wait, close it for decision tonight.
Oh, close it for determination later this evening, sorry. I was
Second.
in a hurry.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
All right, we're ready to rock now. Item 1 on the agenda is Howard and Jennifer Hyman, 349 Cobb Road, Watermill, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-133-2-24. Applicant requests the following relief from Town Code 330-11, Residential Districts Table of Dimensional Regulations, for the proposed connection of a detached accessory building to become part of the principal building on a non-conforming lot. One, a principal rear yard setback of 23.4 feet, where 60 feet is permitted. And 2, a principal minimum side yard setback of 22.3 feet, where 25 feet is required. Any other relief necessary?
Board has jurisdiction. You pass that to Susan.
Good evening. I just have to swear you in unless you're an attorney.
No.
Okay, if you can state your name and address.
Britton Bistrian, 21 Nepean Harbor Road, Amagansett, New York, 11930.
And do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. If you can tell us about the application.
Sure. Good evening, Chairman Grossman, members of the board. I'm Britton Bistrian, representing Howard and Jennifer Hyman, who own the parcel at 349 Cobb Road in Watermill. Joined by both the owner, Mr. Hyman, and the architect, Mark Matthews. So if there's any questions for them, they're both here to address them. The property was purchased earlier this year. They seek to make some improvements, which is typical. Currently, the property is improved with a one-story residence, a pool, and a pool house. The pool house is physically connected to the residence by a screen porch, which you can see in the survey. It's kind of an L shape. And the intent of this scope of work is literally to convert that screen porch into habitable area. It's already roofed, and then the pool house becomes habitable area as well. We feel that this was sort of the most tangible way to put an addition that was in keeping with the one-story, low-lying house. The alternative would be a second floor, which would have much greater physical and visual impact on the lot. The lot, as you see, is in CR 60 zoning, which is completely non-conforming at 35,612 square feet. Because the lot is single and separate, dating back to at least 1940 on a described property and not part of a subdivision, it doesn't have the benefit of relaying back to the 1957 zoning in place when the house was built in 1968. So it does get some relief from the 3/10, 4/10, doesn't really help us in this particular circumstance. There were 2 requested variances are for the reduction in the rear yard setback from the western property line to the existing pool house exterior wall, and the southern property line from the also to the pool house wall. As I noted, the lot is non-conforming. It poses a hardship for setbacks required for a principal structure. As noted, the rear yard is 60 feet, which is almost the entire rear yard. And that the benefits of this proposal to the applicants far outweighs the detriment. You won't notice a visual change because everything is already roofed. It's literally enclosing already built areas. It also allows the owners to remain in the house during construction, because it's an abbreviated construction period, just to sort of, break through the walls and connect them. We think that given the circumstances of the lot, how it was created, how zoning was created in Southampton Town, and the as-built conditions, that this proposal is reasonable. It's in keeping with the relief that's often granted on non-conforming lots by this board. And other than that, I stand ready for any questions, but I thank you for your time and consideration.
So we did have some comments from the building department. I don't know if you've seen them already?
I did.
Okay.
There are minor issues that we'll address at the building permit stage. It was about an outdoor kitchen and a
Yes.
small extension on a screen porch that didn't match the previous plans, but
Yep.
we'll just file a work-done permit for those. They're pretty minor areas.
That's fine. If you haven't spoken with Marjorie Riley, yet about it, feel free to reach out to her. So, 'cause she was the one who gave us those notes.
Yep.
And other than that, we'll see. Oh, have you heard from any of the neighbors?
We did hear from one of the adjacent neighbors to the north, and he was supportive of the application.
Okay, all right. This is kind of, in certain respects, I think, from the applicant's perspective, it should have no impact on the neighbors because it's just enclosing this, the porch that's already there. Essentially, instead of it being a screen porch, it's being completely enclosed. But we'll see if any of the other adjacent property owners or anyone else wants to be heard in connection with this one. The alternative is to, as you mentioned, is a second story, or I suppose, basically moving the existing structures, which would be a real financial difficulty, I'm sure, for the applicant.
And if you look at the configuration of the lot, there really isn't a formula, a puzzle piece that works.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay, all right. And the other thing I just want to mention is the amount of relief. So this structure is going to be, for the relief is 60 feet to 23.4 and 25 feet to 22.3. So the minimum side yard relief is, less than 3 feet. So really, the only relief that is of any, larger amount in terms of a number is the principal rear yard setback. So, anyway, but we'll see if, first I want to ask, are there any questions or comments of members of the board, or Katie or Anthony?
So you're not building any new structures, you're not expanding the footprint, you're just filling in that screened porch and making the pool house connected to the main residence?
Correct. We have to build a septic system, so that's a structure, but above-ground structures, no.
Right, understood.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Any other questions?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Thank you
All
very
right.
much.
Okay, no problem. Is there anyone who is here in the audience who would like to be heard this evening in connection with the application of Hyman? This is for property located at 349 Cobb Road in Watermill. Is there anyone who is waiting to be heard on Zoom in connection with the application of Hyman for property located at 349 Cobb Road in Watermill? If you are waiting to be heard on Zoom, this would be the time to let us know by raising your hand. No hands. Okay, thank you. If not, Susan, it is yours.
Okay, we're going to close the public hearing. We will keep it open for written submissions till September 30th with a decision in October 6th.
Second.
Ms. Kern.
Aye.
Mr. Daly.
Aye.
Mr. Tudhill.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess.
Aye.
Mr. Macedonio.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Thank you so much. Have a good rest of your night.
Thank you.
Okay, item 2 on the agenda is Brendan Haig and Christina Ferrugiaria. 41 Cove Drive in Noyak, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-9-3-17. Applicant requests relief from the following provisions of the Town Code. Town Code 330-115C continuance for a principal front yard setback of 23.1 feet, where 28.2 feet is existing for a proposed covered front porch, in Town Code 330-84D for a pyramid encroachment in the amount of 964 cubic feet for a proposed second-story addition on a non-conforming lot, and any other relief necessary.
Board has jurisdiction. Pass that to Mike.
Good evening.
Good evening.
As long as you're not an attorney, I don't have to, if you are an attorney, I don't have to swear you in.
Very nice. I am an attorney, Chair.
You are, that's what I thought.
Jacob Turner of Heilig Brannigan, 4250 Veterans Memorial Highway, Holbrook, New York, 11747. Thank you very much for having us this evening. I represent Mr. Haig, Ms. Bergieri. I said it wrong. I'm sorry. I said it wrong.
So, all right, don't feel bad.
How do you, well, wait a second.
but
How
he
do
said
you
it better
say
than
it?
you.
Very jarring. Okay,
See, it's so
very
easy.
jarring. It does.
I'm here this evening with both applicants, a real estate person, and the architect, Mr. Trevani, who designed the plans for us. We're asking for relief for two sections. First, for a roofed-over porch, and second, for pyramid relief. Regarding the roofed-over porch, I will bring to the board's attention that there is no expansion of the footprint of the porch in and of itself. The applicants are simply seeking to roof over that portion of the concrete stoop that is already there to help protect against the elements, which will provide greater safety for ingress, egress, prevent elements from falling upon them, and preventing any elements from falling upon the walkway in and of itself. In addition, we are seeking relief for the pyramid law. What we are seeking to do is expand the second story. We are seeking approximately 964 feet in cubic relief. As we go through the five-factor test, we see that this would not be a change to the neighborhood. This is an area of Southampton for which these roofed-over structures with the proximity to the front yard is quite common. I'll draw it to the board's attention, 38 Cove, literally across the street, which was granted similar relief this past summer. And regarding the pyramid relief, I'll bring to the board's attention 38 Bayview, which was granted much greater relief by this board earlier this summer as well. As we examined the property, and the architect can speak more to this, there is no other feasible way to do this. One, the porch is already there. Second, the pyramid, if we look at the relation of the dwelling to the lot in and of itself, to comply with the pyramid law, there would be one weird-looking house if we had to build underneath the pyramid law. And I will note that the applicant is expecting, and their family is expanding, and they need extra space for their family. This is not substantial in nature. The roofed-over porch, as I said, will not expand the footprint in any way, shape, or form. For the pyramid law, we are seeking only 964-ish feet. There will be no environmental impact from this. And while this might be self-created, I would note for the boards that this is a very small factor within the five-factor test. With that being said, I stand ready to answer any questions, as does the architect and our real estate person.
This is already built.
It is not already built. It is merely proposed.
Oh, okay, because that's the last section, is 5. It's already built, then it's proposed.
If it would be a self-created hardship if it were to be built.
Built.
Correct.
Without a variance.
Correct.
Okay, but it is not built.
It is merely
Okay.
proposed, and we're not doing anything without the town's permission.
Okay, I just want to clarify that.
Yeah, so the relief is continuous, essentially to, extend the, some of the, setbacks
Yeah.
further, a little bit, but not a lot further.
No.
I mean, setback 28.2 to 23.1, this is, principal front yard. And as for pyramid relief, well, it's less than 1,000 cubic feet. It's not nothing. We'll see if there are any neighbors here. And I do want to ask you also if you've heard from any of the neighbors?
We have reached out to all the neighbors. We have
Okay.
heard no negative impact, but for people being available, we would have had them here to support us.
The roof-over porch is a common amenity in the town of Southampton, you know?
I tend to agree, Mr. Tuthill. However, you are the board, and I'll defer to you.
And I concur with with Adam, that the pyramid encroachment is not,
Minimal.
it's not big.
I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm fine.
It seems like a modest request.
Modest.
That's what we present to the board as well. We tried, and Mr. Trevani could even tell you, when he was designing this, he tried to keep it as minimum as possible.
Okay, and we appreciate that. Okay, so, and yes, any other questions of members of the board, or Katie or Anthony? Okay, is there anyone who's here in the public, in the room tonight, who would like to be heard in connection with the application of Hog and, well, I'll probably mess it up. Hog and Frugia. I probably messed it up. Anyway, is there anyone who would like to be heard? Okay, is there anyone from the public who's waiting to be heard on Zoom in connection with the application of Hog and Frugia? This is for property located at 41 Cove Drive in Sag Harbor. If you're waiting to be heard on Zoom, this would be the time to let us know by raising your hand. Okay. If not, Mike, it is yours.
I'm not going to try to say your last name.
And sorry for messing it up. I know I
Say Brendan and
did.
Christina. that's
Number
it.
two.
F, and Mr. H. Yeah, we will, thank you. We will leave this open for written submissions until September 30th, and yes, and we'll have a decision on October 6th.
Second.
Thank you.
Mr. Daly,
Aye.
Ms. Kerr,
Aye.
Ms. Burgess,
Aye.
Mr. Tudhill,
Aye.
Mr. Macedonio.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Thank you so much. Have a good rest of your night.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, guys.
Good seeing you.
Item 3 on the agenda is Deanna and Deborah Frey, 32 South Phillips Avenue in Spionk, Remsenburg, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-368-2-13. Applicant requests relief from the Town of Southampton Code for the proposed 4-lot subdivision. 1, 330-11, Residential Districts Table of Dimensional Regulations. For Lot 1, a minimum lot width of 132.94 feet, where 150 feet is required. Lot 2, a minimum lot width of 142.7 feet, where 150 feet is required. Lot 3, a minimum lot width of 131.03 feet, where 150 feet is required. And 4, for Lot 4, a minimum lot width of 140.8 feet, where 150 feet is required. And 2, 330-82, lot width for Lot 2 and Lot 4 for having a minimum flagpole width of 10.2 feet, where 20 feet is required respectively, and any other relief necessary.
Board has jurisdiction.
Good evening. I just have to swear you in. If you can state your name and address for the record, please.
Linda Secathico, 500 Montauk Highway in Mauritius, New York,
And do you swear to tell?
11955.
Yeah, we just need you to move your microphone. So, down a little bit so we can hear you better. There we go. Okay, and do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, you can tell us about the application.
Hold on one second, Linda. There's only one copy of these, right?
Just one,
All right,
yes.
so Bob is gonna pass this down, but it has to come back to him because there's
Okay.
only one copy.
Oh, okay,
Usually it's better to have a copy for every single board member.
I'm sorry.
okay.
Okay, I'm here representing my client, Donna and Deanna Frey. They reside at 32 South Phillips Avenue in Spionk, tax map number 900-368, Block 2, Lot 13. Diana and Deborah inherited this property from the family members before them, and this home, the existing home that's shown on the survey, has been in the family for over 50 years. Francis Watson LS did the 4-lot subdivision, and it is 4 acres, and each of the lots are in R4 zoning. My client is requesting that the board entertain to have 4 lots created with minimum relief. I think the largest relief is for Lot 1, which is 17.06 feet because of the road frontage, and we had to take away some land to do the flag lots to go to the back lots. I have some photographs of the existing house, and immediately to the south is 38 and 42 South Phillips Avenue, and that is a flag lot that was configured in the same way that my client is proposing. And then after that, there is another flag lot, and that is tax map number 19.2, and that is 46 South Phillips Avenue. And the client is in consistency with what's immediately around her. Across the street are homes that are not deep, but, they're not in conformance with her side of the street, but on her side of the street, there are 3 subdivision lots that have already been approved by the board, and there's more as you're going south on South Phillips. I didn't take all those photographs of that particular.
Yep.
Is this the same as what you had up before,
Right.
or these are different?
No, they're all the same.
These are all same.
The other sets are the same?
Okay, so these are,
These can go back to
Okay.
Bob.
These can go
you can
back.
pass those down, but like,
Okay, we'll pass these that way.
or
this
you
way.
keep,
And
you
those will
keep
go
those,
this way.
Bob, and put the originals in there, yeah.
Here's the existing.
Same pictures.
You keep them, Bob.
Same picture we already saw? So-
Oh, I didn't.
The certified mailings were sent out. I had no response from any of the individuals. I did have one gentleman call me around 5:45, and he wanted to know information, and I explained the application to him, and he said, fine, he would look at it at Zoom, but I don't know if he's on Zoom. I have no idea.
Okay. All right, so I just want to mention a couple of things. Well, the width of the lots, the relief that's being requested is very modest on each of the 4 lots. I mean, none of them is, to me, very significant deviation. Probably the most looks like 131 feet where 150 feet is required, and the rest of them are, 140 feet.
142,
Yeah, yeah.
40, yeah, they're
Yeah, so they're, not far off from what, what would be permissible. But they're far off enough that you need to have variance relief. So, but that relief is pretty modest. And the flag relief, I had to look at the survey to understand this. So it looks like you did 2 flags, basically 10 feet
Correct.
each to create a 20-foot flag in between, basically cutting through the
That is
2
correct.
front lots to get to the 2 back lots.
That is correct.
So what we have, in fact, ends up being a 20-foot a flag, not a 10-foot flag. But the way in which it reads with the application, it's 10-foot flags, but it's 2 of them. So basically, the 2 of them combined create the 20-foot flag, which is, I think, a reasonable way to deal with getting access to these 2 rear lots. So we're not talking about, in my view, something that deviates an enormous amount from what zoning allows. However, want to hear if there are any neighbors who have questions or concerns. I also want to mention, for all of those who are here and who are watching, that this is a subdivision application that is requiring variance relief as part of the subdivision. So when that happens, it's really 2 different sets of hearings, one before our board for the variance relief, and the other before the planning board for the actual subdivision. We don't grant the subdivision, the planning board does. But I think, my guess is the planning board sent you here to have us decide the variance, about the variance relief before they proceeded with a planning board, although sometimes they don't do it that way.
Planning board does have the application, but
Yep.
when it was submitted,
Yep.
it was incomplete, and we know it was incomplete.
So, can I clarify for that? Heidi?
Sure.
Yeah.
So, we did the pre-application, the first step of a minor subdivision, and we
Yeah.
adopted a report on this.
Okay.
And we're going to get it to you. The referrals come in, and I will get the report to you. This was just the first hearing.
Okay.
In this particular case, what we didn't say, most of the issues were just subdivision issues, nothing really as it relates to the relief, because it was minor. what we did was, we asked for the 10-foot wide flag strips, so we could get more land within there. The other thing is, within the bulk of the property.
Wait, are you saying just one 10-foot?
No, two 10.
Two,
Two,
all right,
yeah,
okay,
sorry.
okay, sorry.
And that way, we could still get the 15-foot wide driveway to serve the two lots. That would be the standard
Right.
anyway.
Right.
Also, this, we didn't put in the report, is normally we point out with these substandard lots under zoning, the provision of the code that talks about TDRs. But that provision gives an exemption if the relief for lot width and lot area is less than 20%, which it is in this case.
Okay.
So we'll get that to you, but there were no major issues with the planning other than the standard subdivision-related issues.
Okay, good, good.
So what's proposed is what the planning board supports.
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay, very good.
Can I have a question?
Sure.
So, and something will be stated in any approval that those two 10-foot flags could not be kind of separated with a wall down the middle, right? That
The
it
planning
would
board's going to
stay-
require that the full 20 feet be, it's going to be obscured, and we're going to put 15 feet right down the middle.
Got it.
So there can't be a wall going down the middle. The
Right.
driveway's going to be there,
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, okay.
I had a question because, Linda, maybe you can just help me. Where are you measuring the minimum lot width? Because, and I'm sorry, I didn't bring my magnifying glass, but I was having some problems figuring out where were you actually measuring the minimum lot width?
Because it also
You
is
you can actually see the
different.
number. You have to look really, really close.
No, but there are different widths. I
Oh,
mean,
I know.
there's a
See-
smaller width and there's a wider width.
Yeah, and usually it's the smaller.
Yeah, but it wasn't
Okay.
in some of these.
Yeah.
I didn't think, but maybe you
Okay.
could just clarify it for me.
Well, the surveyor is showing the two front lot widths.
Yeah.
And then he's got the 20-foot, the two 10-foot flag lots going to the rear of the property. And on lot number 2, the lot width is
Is it in the middle or is it at the end?
142.7. Well, the flag lot goes into the property, and then you've got the distance from where the flag lot
Okay.
enters the property. One goes left and one goes right. The one for lot number 2, the lot,
All right, so the 10 feet is the difference between the
Right.
front of the lot and the back of
Right.
the lot. Okay, all right, now I understand. And then in the first two lots, there's a
And then-
front line and a back line.
right, and they're showing
It's
that
just basically
one
the same
flag lot
issue.
It's the same issue?
Yeah.
Okay.
enters the area where the two other lots are being created, the driveway is veering off.
Okay.
So they each have
Okay,
one.
got it. Thank
So,
you.
yeah, so it ends up, we use the larger measurement because of the fact that the flag is creating,
We're using the smaller measurement.
well, in terms of lots 2 and 4, yeah, well, I would think we would want to be using the smaller.
Yeah, I think that that's what they're doing.
Yeah,
I just wanted
yeah.
to,
Okay,
okay.
yeah.
Because, yeah, I mean, it appears like there's three different sets of numbers.
Yeah,
There's
I-
the sets on the application, which all are asking for 122, 121.
That
And
may,
then there's the set, then there's the numbers that are on this hearing notice, which was read, which is in
Yeah.
and then there's the numbers that are on the survey, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I have the larger number as, at least on the application for lot width for lot 2 and lot 4.
I know, so in other words, they're taking but the minimum width is the smaller number, and that's the number they should be really using to get the variance, is that correct?
Well,
I don't know, am I?
no, not necessarily. I have to
Okay.
go back and look, because I don't have everything memorized, but I believe the lot width is measured from the side lot line to the side lot line through the principal building
right, and these don't
setback
ha-
line.
and-
So
the
sometimes your
principal
back
building
property line might be
All right.
wider or narrower, but they measure the lot width. That's why when we do a subdivision, for example, and sometimes we have to ask for this, it comes down narrower. When you have a cul-de-sac, for example,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
sometimes
Mm-hmm.
fan
Yeah,
out.
yeah, yeah.
We measure at the setback line, and if they don't have the lot width there, we will push the building setback line until they have the lot
All
width.
right, but they don't have a principal building, so they'd have to just decide where the principal building line is and then measure it from there, is that what you're saying?
No, from the setback.
From the
Setback
setback
to the
line,
principal.
from the building setback line.
Right, so, but that's not on the plans.
I got you.
Well, it's not on the
So,
survey, but I think we
it's
got
not-
plans.
We don't have it on the,
No,
I don't think so.
let's see. Let's try
Sorry to
proposed,
make it so confusing, but I think we need,
proposed structures.
did I miss that?
Yeah, proposed structures on this. Upside down, but,
Right, so small and right
I
side up
don't,
anyway.
I don't have
it's proposed structures.
it. This?
Yeah, yeah. This is the build out of the 4 lots.
All right, but is the measurement there? The measurement is not there.
The corner.
See, it's, you know.
Oh, it's not across the
It's
building
not
envelope,
across the.
but it's across the
it's not
back
a-
line.
Yeah, it's not across the so you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to have the principal setback, and then you measure from there. You know, I've got it, but if what Anthony is saying is correct, whatever your setback line is, that's where you measure the lot width. Anyhow, I'd just like clarification on
We should
where-
get Marjorie in the building department to clarify that.
All right, all right, I just want clarification, so that when we grant the variance, we grant it correctly, and that we acknowledge, where the lot line should be.
That's fine. Yeah, I mean, like with setbacks, it can be, 2 different measurements, and we go with the smaller, but with this, apparently, it's a whole different
Well, I don't
way
know,
in
but
which it's calculated.
I would like to
Yep, you
get
like to know.
clarification.
Okay, that's
All
what
right,
works for me. So, yeah, so if we can get that clarification,
Katie?
1020, right?
Katie, from I guess, Marjorie Riley?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we could definitely get clarification.
Yeah.
I'm assuming these numbers are correct, because they're also coming from the planning board. So I don't think you necessarily have to have the house on the survey in order to determine it, but we'll make sure it's right.
Yeah, they don't need a house on there,
Yeah.
they just need.
Where the setback
Yeah,
is.
right.
And by the way, we always, when we point out that what we believe are the variances that are necessary, and I probably did say it in the report, we always make sure to say, verify this with the chief building inspector and then zoning department.
Yep.
Since we're making educated guesses based on a pre-application.
Right. No, and I understand the structures themselves aren't shown on the plan, but it shows basically the building envelope,
Yep.
so.
Okay.
And I just want to correct my earlier statement, where I now see how the numbers on this do correspond to what was read for, okay.
Yeah.
So they're not all 3 different. They're
Yep.
different from the initial application, but I see where the numbers relate
Yep,
on this plan
Yep.
to what was read.
okay, all right. Okay, any other questions from members of the board? Is there anyone from the public who's waiting to be heard in connection with the application, who's here this evening, who's in person, in connection with the application of Frey for property located at 32 South Phillips Avenue in Remsenburg, Spionk? Is there anyone from the public who is waiting to be heard on Zoom this evening in connection with the application of Frey for property located at 32 South Phillips Avenue, Remsenburg, Spionk? If you're waiting to be heard on Zoom, this would be the time to let us know by raising your hand. No hands. If not, Bob, it is yours.
Okay, motion to close, hold open till 10:07 for written submissions with a decision on 10:20.
And that will
Second.
include confirmation from the
Confirmation
building
building
department, planning board referral, everything we need.
Well, do you think we'll have a planning board referral?
It's already done, we already did the report, I just didn't get it to you because I didn't actually receive it.
We're just giving it a little bit longer just so we have everything.
Good,
Yep,
thank you.
okay.
I second that.
No problem. Okay, Mr. Macedonio,
Aye.
Mr. Daly,
Aye.
Ms. Burgess,
Aye.
Mr. Tudhill,
Aye.
Ms. Kern.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Thank you so much. Have a good rest of your night.
Okay, item 4 on the agenda is, I thought I heard it. I don't say so.
Okay.
Item 4 on the agenda is Anthony Fusco, 19 Dock Road in Rensenburg, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-366-1-2.5. Applicant requests relief from Town Code 330-11, Residence Districts Table of Dimensional Regulations for a principal front yard setback of 39 feet, where 80 feet is required for a proposed 2-story dwelling. In addition, applicant requests relief from the following provisions of the town code to allow the conversion of an existing dwelling to an accessory apartment. 330-11 for an accessory distance from street front yard setback of 41.3 feet where 90 feet is required, and an accessory side yard setback of 20.5 feet where 30 feet is required. 2, 330-83C yards and 330-76D, placement of accessory building structures and uses in all districts to allow an accessory building to be located within the minimum required side yard for the principal building. And 3, 330-11.2F, special standards as follows: a principal front yard setback of 39 feet where 56 feet is required, 70% of the required 80 feet. 2, an accessory distance from street setback front yard of 41.3 feet where 63 feet is required, 70% of the required 90 feet. And 3, an accessory side yard setback of 20.5 feet where 21 feet is required, 70% of the required 30 feet. And any other relief necessary.
The board has jurisdiction.
Good evening.
Hi.
Can you state your name and address? to the
Lori
record, please?
Wiltshire, 231 Pantigo Road, East Hampton.
And do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Then tell us about the application.
Let me do that. I'm just going to put my comments, the denial letter from the building department and the health department notice of incomplete into the record, which I'm
Okay.
referencing in my presentation.
Okay.
And you only have one copy for the board?
It's just for the file because I'm going to speak about it here. So Anthony Fusco submitted a building permit application in May of last year to construct a new house and convert the existing house at 19 Dock Road into an accessory structure. In August of last year, he received a denial letter from the building department as neither the proposed house or the accessory structure met required setbacks for the R60 zone. The existing house, to be converted into an accessory apartment, sits 20.5 feet from the side yard where 30 feet is required, and 41.3 feet from the front yard where 90 feet is required. The applicant has also applied for relief to situate the new house 39 feet from the front yard where 80 feet is required, maintaining the historic street setback of the existing house. In the denial letter, Art Gerhauser wrote, "If you were to remove the existing dwelling, you may place the proposed house at the same non-conforming setback 39 feet from the previous building. However, my client would rather preserve the existing house and add it to the town's affordable housing stock. A development right has been set aside for this purpose by Dave Wilcox in the Planning Department. The Health Department has also reviewed this proposal and has basically signed off on the proposed Fuji Clean IA OWTS to service both dwellings, but they will not issue an actual permit until the town variance is submitted to their agency. The final condition of their review is that the variance must stipulate that the existing home is to be recognized as an affordable apartment only, otherwise the property is over density." So that's very important for Katie and for this board, because they're asking for specific language in a variance. We also need relief to allow the accessory building within the minimum required side yard of the principal building. The existing dwelling has been in its present location since 1941. And moving it to a conforming location would require an unnecessary and expensive hardship. In addition, moving either or both buildings back from the road would require removal of significant trees and vegetation that create privacy for the 3 houses behind the subject lot. The neighborhood is primarily residential in nature, with multiple structures on many of the lots, many very close to the road, particularly the lot to the immediate east and the 3 lots across the street from 19 Dock Road. William Hine, the project architect, is here and will explain the results of his neighborhood analysis that has been submitted to the record. And I will be available for comments as well once he finishes his presentation.
Okay.
Thank you.
Just need to swear you in unless you're an attorney. If you can state your name and address.
William Frederick Hine, architect, 492 Montauk Highway, Eastport, New York, 11941.
And do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
If you can now give us your comments.
Okay. In your packet should be a very elaborate drawing, which was an examination of the neighborhood. Going through each lot, Dock Road is just under a half-mile long. There's 34 lots on there. Going through each one, 80% of the lots on that road are non-conforming to required minimum area, minimum lot width, or front yard setbacks. And some of them have a front yard setbacks as small as 14.8 feet, and there is a lot that's as small as 62.5 feet wide. The subject lot is basically square. If we take the westerly property line, it's 208 feet long. If we remove the 100-foot rear yard setback and the 80-foot front yard setback, we only have a 28-foot buildable package for the house. So that's where the owners originally went in to see Mike Benacasa, talked to him about trying to leave the house in a front yard setback that matched the existing house. Along the way, they decided that they would like to keep that house, make it affordable housing. And if we move that house back, or the proposed house back, we're going to disturb the buffer. There's 2 flag lots behind this lot. And if we move anything back, we're going to be right in their front yards. So we're trying to keep things forward. The house was built in '41, so it misses landmarking by a year, or he could have landmarked the existing house and used it as a carriage house. But it was built in '41, where landmarking requires prior to '41. So, yeah, keeping the house, it's something that the neighborhood recognizes. There's a lot of small cottages like this. It's only 866 square feet. It's very small. There are some other houses just catty corner across the street from them, again, on much narrower lots, again, very tiny houses. So the neighborhood is made up of these very small houses on narrow lots, with the houses very close to the road. So we're a little further back than some, and we are a wider lot. So having the 2 houses on there, they are separated, in some cases, more than some of the existing houses on the street are currently. So if we were to move the house, the proposed house, back, we would have to get a rear yard variance, because again, we only have a 28-foot buildable package in which to build the house. So we're hoping that we can keep the existing house where it is, use it as low-income, an apartment, and build a new house on a open sort of area of the lot. As far as a self-created hardship, the shape of the lot, things like that, the fact that the existing house is currently in a non-conforming location are the basis for those, and is really, on a 60,000 square foot lot, not being able to build a decent-sized home, you only have a 28-foot buildable package, creates a hardship. 60,000 square foot lot, you would think you'd get a sizable house on. So unfortunately, it just doesn't fit because the lot is wider than it is deep.
So, William, so there's no opportunity to move the proposed house back to 41.3 feet? I mean, you know.
Yeah, I mean, that's because we're very close to that. So yes, something like that could be entertained, yes.
Okay, so you
Moving
could-
it back to 80
to-
feet.
I understand not to 80 feet, but, you know, do you have in mind what you could move it back to if you needed to?
Okay.
So, I mean, basically, you're talking about 3 feet, 39
I
feet to
understand.
41 feet. The expense to move a house is.
I'm not talking about moving the existing house, the proposed.
The proposed house?
That's the one I'm
You can
talking
speak to
about.
that. Yeah. Yeah.
And I think what Susan's trying to do is see where we can reduce a little bit of the relief. So, and for the proposed house, it's, not going to be a hardship because it's proposed.
Right.
Yeah.
It would affect the septic approval. That's already done.
It shouldn't, because we would be moving sort of parallel to it. We're 106.5 feet from the rear yard, which requires 100, so we do have 6 feet to play with. So we could move it back, if it was required, an additional 3 feet, give or take.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
You know where I'm coming from on this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would that mean you'd have to still go back to Health Department, or no?
I wouldn't think so,
It's just going to change the
because,
alignment of the piping, because the house doesn't get any closer, just the deck does.
right.
I only asked the question because, you know,
Yeah.
if it is,
And
you know, means that you have to make another application to the health department, that would be a delay for you.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so, because the house is pretty much perpendicular to the street, and as it moves back, it's paralleling the system. So it should change the direction of the lines to it, but it shouldn't really change any of the separations, but, you know, we can double check.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, I greatly appreciate that. A couple
How
of,
would you approach, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
well, I just had a couple of other, well, why don't you, I'm going to go to another subject, so.
No, all you, all you.
Okay. Anyway, just a couple of kind of more general comments about the application. When we have the applications for accessory apartments, they always seem like an awful lot of relief. That they do, because it basically is as, for structures that presently exist with COs at the present location or pre-existing at the present location, what relief they would need if they were basically, you know, built now. So it always makes it look like a lot of relief, number one. Number two, we need accessory apartments in the town of Southampton.
Desperately.
Now, wanted to ask, what is the intended use? Is this intended to be for family members or just rented out to
He's
people
left
in the
the option
community?
open to either live in it himself and have a family live in
Can
the
I,
house.
can I also, just because.
Sure.
Under the town's affordable housing program, on
Yep.
the rental situation,
Yep.
you don't have to go, and I believe it's only with single family, you don't have to go to a town. In other words, it's not a lottery for rental, but they can rent it to anybody
Yeah.
who is qualified.
Yes.
Through the program.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it's open to whoever.
Yes.
But it's not from a list, but there are going to be the guidelines.
Yes, no.
And we're going to do a covenant, obviously.
No, and I understand. Okay. So I just wanted to mention that a benefit to this application is the fact that there is an accessory apartment that's, you know, if it's going to be available to the community, that's a benefit. The other thing I want to mention is about it being historic. I know you mentioned about the landmarking and the not being able to do it because of, like, it was 1 year after the time period to do it. But, you know, sometimes we have applications where, you know, we have like a lot of information provided about the historic nature of a particular structure. I'm not sure whether there's anything you want to submit about that, but if you are inclined to, feel free to do so.
Yeah, other than its
Other than age,
age.
Yeah,
We don't
yeah.
really have anything.
You don't have anything in
It's age
terms
and
of,
its consistency with the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Which is all sort of
Yeah.
Shake Shack,
yeah.
but not historic elements.
Right. So it looks like, this application looks like an awful lot of relief. It just does, but that often is the case with the accessory apartment applications.
Yeah.
But I think there are some benefits of it. Sometimes neighbors are concerned about accessory apartments. We'll see if anyone is, you know, because sometimes they ask about, you know, the concerns about the, you know, the additional use on the property from the accessory apartment. But, so the other question I had is whether we've heard from any of the neighbors who may have mentioned it already.
We have not,
You have not.
but I think to their concern, this is one of the biggest lots in the entire neighborhood. And when you put two residences on the one lot, it's actually gonna look like two bigger lots than most of the lots on the entire street.
Yeah.
If you look at that map. So, but also, this is a working class, real, full-time neighborhood. And people live here and work in the community.
Right.
They shouldn't be concerned about someone like themselves living in a house next door.
Right.
The Marine is at the end, right?
Yes.
That I don't know.
Yeah, okay. So those are my thoughts about the application. Any other questions, comments?
I think it's worth, though, just exploring, does the board want them to move the house back 6 feet? I mean, give them a
3
little.
feet, I think it was, right?
Whatever it
He
was.
has the 6 feet.
6 feet max.
6 feet.
Yeah.
I would like to explore that up.
I don't think we need to actually go any further than just to agree to it and not ask for that relief, so we can just get on with this decision.
Okay.
We
It's
still-
easy, it's an
we
easy
still need
thing to
relief.
fix on a survey. Very easy.
You still
Okay.
need relief. It's supposed to be 80 feet, so.
Yes, no, but it's a
Right.
less relief.
But it's with the 70%. If we use the 70% equation that's listed at the bottom of the,
No, we're talking about the principal front yard setback of 39 feet where 80 feet is required.
yes.
So you're adding 6 feet to it, so you need that.
So instead of,
You still need the variance.
we still need a
It'll be-
variance.
Where did you come
Yes.
up with the 41.3?
That's where the house,
That's
the
what the
existing house.
existing,
Where
the
this
Oh,
existing,
understood.
Yeah.
Okay,
We'd be
okay,
keeping-
okay.
that's right.
You know what, that was a surveyor error, because originally this said 39, and that just somehow maintained. We will fix that, and we will, it'll still need relief, but not as much.
Okay.
Okay.
You're gonna add 6 feet to it and revise the survey.
We're going to
Okay.
move it back to 41.3.
I think you just said you were going to add 6 feet
You
to
want to
it.
move it back 6?
We do have the ability to move 6.5 feet, so, if it was necessary, we would do so.
We can.
Okay.
It still needs relief.
Yeah,
Are
still
you-
needs to-
Well-
Just a little bit less.
A little
Are you guys okay with that?
What's the setback on the existing?
41.3.
41.3.
I'm okay with that number, if you can move it to whatever that is.
That's what
It'll
Art
kinda match.
Gerhauser said. Mhm,
Yeah.
Exactly. And he used the number 39 too, because originally there was a mistake on the survey of the existing house.
This way it kind of conforms with.
Oh, you want them to be in line?
it would-
Well, it's an odd, it's not really going to
Well,
line up.
I think we should
is it?
decide tonight, because that's how it has to be written.
Yeah, yeah.
So we're
I
either
think if
gonna-
you've got some leverage to move it back further, so you need less relief, I would opt for that.
You would, but you wouldn't, so now we need
So we
a
gotta
majority.
figure out where
You've
we
got 5
are.
or 6 of you, let's make a determination on that. 41.3 or 6 feet back? Opinions?
Mike? Come on in.
He's missed the conversation.
I'm fine with 41.3. Adam,
Okay.
we got 2 at 41.3.
Well,
Helen, this is yours. What do you think?
yeah.
I visited the property, and I have no problems. When I saw it, and I saw what your request was, I think it's gonna be really wonderful. And I don't think it has to be changed in any way. I commend these people for what they have done, and I think we could just move forward without asking them to make any changes. But that's my opinion.
Okay, well, with that, I'd say we definitely are not at moving at 6 or 6.5 feet. Mike, do you want to, so we're talking
We're
about.
talking about moving it to
Yeah,
back 6 feet or to 41.3, which is what the,
yeah.
And 41.3 gives
It's,
a little bit more, less
I don't care.
relief, less relief. So,
and does that refer to anything that's either existing or?
yeah,
had
it does, it
been?
refers to the
39 or
existing.
41.3.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't have to modify your health department or sanitary system, I would support 41.3.
okay, so that's 3 to 41.3, and I'm going to be the fourth person, just so you have clarity.
Got it.
Rather than
41.3
having
it
a
is.
split.
41.3 it is.
Yeah, yeah.
Great.
If it doesn't damage your health department and cause you.
Right,
Doesn't. The
right.
system stays in the same place as the pipes.
Yeah.
shift
Thank you.
Slightly.
Okay,
Thank you.
okay. All right. Let's see. Any other questions from members of the board, or Anthony or Katie? Is there anyone from the public who is here in the audience, waiting to be heard this evening in connection with the application of Fusco, sorry if I'm mispronouncing, for 19 Dock Road in Remsenburg? Is there anyone who is waiting to be heard on Zoom in connection with the application of Fusco for property located at 19 Dock Road in Remsenburg? If you are waiting to be heard on Zoom, this will be the time to let us know by raising your hand.
William, did you address the building department comments about the sitting room and the porch and the sunroom?
Yes.
That was resubmitted.
Great.
Okay. No one on Zoom, thank you. Okay, if not, Helen, it is yours.
Well, we can close the public hearing, just leave it open for written submissions till September 30th with a decision on October 6th.
Very good.
Second.
Also want to mention, I think we're going to need a revised survey to reflect the change measurement.
Okay.
Yep.
Is that a problem by September 30th?
No.
Yep, okay, okay,
Second.
Thank you.
okay, all right. Miss-
Decision, yeah, decision.
Yes, okay, Ms. Burgess,
Aye.
Mr. Daly,
Aye.
Ms. Kern,
Aye.
Mr. Macedonio,
Aye.
Mr. Tudhill.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good night.
Item 5 on the agenda is Douglas Warner, 30 Straight Path, North Sea, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-77-3-25. Applicant requests relief from the following provisions of the town code for a proposed accessory apartment within an existing dwelling on a non-conforming lot. 330-11.2, special standards. 1, to allow an accessory apartment to be located on a lot that is less than 30,000 square feet. A lot area of 19,702 square feet where 48,000 square feet is required, 80% of the required 60,000 square feet. 3, a lot width of 100 feet where 105 is required, 70% of the required 150. 4, principal front yard setback of 40.7 feet where 56 is required, 70% of the required 80. And 5, a principal total side yard of 40.1 feet where 45 feet is required, 70% of the 65, and any other relief necessary.
Board has jurisdiction. As
Good
you
evening.
like.
Please state your name and address for the record, please.
Suffolk Environmental Consulting, offices in Main Street, Bridgehampton.
And do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir, I do.
Sir, would you like to be sworn in as well?
Yes.
Okay, if you can state your name and address for the record.
Doug Warner, 30 Straight Path, Southampton, New York.
And do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth.
Okay, thank you so much, appreciate it.
Good evening, members.
Mike's.
We're asking relief today authorizing construction of a 585 square foot detached accessory apartment. Proposed accessory apartment would contain a living room, kitchen, 1 full bath, and 1 bedroom. An attached 357 square foot rear deck with a 34 square foot outdoor shower, and a front 20 square foot front entry area is likewise proposed. The property contains 19,702 square feet, or 0.452 acres.
I'm sorry, Bruce, I just need to interrupt you. There's one copy of the letters in support for everybody?
Yes.
But there's only one set of
Yes.
PTA decisions? Okay,
Yes,
just want to make sure.
I don't
Sorry.
want to burden the board with
Thank
much
you,
of that.
thank you.
Yep.
So this whole set goes to,
So we've gone, so the property we're talking about here is an R60 zone, so it's a pre-existing non-conforming parcel. We're asking for 4 forms of relief, all found in 33011.2, which are the special standards for accessory apartments. Described parcel, the accessory apartment would be occupied by Douglas Warner, the owner, who's sitting next to me. Mr. Warner has owned the property since 2004 and is an active member of the North Sea Fire Department and volunteers his time in the maintenance of the North Sea Fire Department parcel, which is located directly across the street. Mr. Warner's daughter and son-in-law would occupy the existing 1-story house. Mr. Warner's daughter and son-in-law have 2 children, ages 2 and 4. Review of the floor plans that are submitted with this application shows an existing principal dwelling with, that reveals a dwelling to contain 3 bedrooms. So the accessory apartment at 565 is appropriately sized, being 31% of the floor area of the principal dwelling, which is greater than the minimum 400 feet and less than the maximum 1,000 square feet. The bedrooms and bathrooms do not provide sole access to any other room or sole access to outer doors, and 1 additional off-street parking space is provided for the accessory apartment. They're depicted on the survey before you. We benefit from a certificate of occupancy, number 8267, dated November 8th, 1971, by a one-family dwelling with a 1-car garage. Subject parcel also benefits from a certificate of compliance, number 040516, dated January 6, 2004, for a swimming pool and deck on grade, along with a second certificate of compliance, number 04515, dated May 11, 2004, for a first-floor addition, deck, and interior renovation. The parcel contains 1 dwelling unit in existence with no more than 1 accessory apartment proposed. The town has set aside a development right, which will be extinguished in the school district where the accessory apartment is located, and upon the issuance of a certificate of compliance. Attached, put in is the extinguishment of development rights for accessory apartment executed by the property owner and David Wilcox in his role as development right manager, dated December 4th, 2020. So the applicant requires zoning relief because the lot at 19,702 square feet is less than 30,000 square feet. It's less than 80% of the required area, and the applicable zoning, which would calculate to 48,000 square feet, we're in an R60 zone, and has a lot width of 100 feet, where 105 feet would otherwise be required. And because the lot is pre-existing non-conforming, having a principal side yard of 40.1 feet, where 56 feet would be required, 70% of the 80-foot total side yard setback. Relief from this provision is likewise asked for. So we have these 4 forms of relief, all relating to the same thing, which is essentially the size of the lot, and to a very minor extent, the width of the lot. Now, in your building permit package, it was noticed by the building that there was an outdoor shower built to the side of the building. I want you to know that the applicant has been working directly with the building department to get that permitted, but that the outdoor shower complies in all respects with the town zoning regulations. We live in a neighborhood here which is residential in character, dominated by parcels of the same similar size. The applicant reached out to their neighbors and secured 5 letters of support from neighboring property owners, either directly abutting the parcel or in close proximity to the parcel. So this is a neighborhood, working neighborhood, that obviously supports one another, which is, of course, refreshing to see. Finally, I handed up 9 decisions over the last couple of years, and all involve these sort of variance standards. And Adam had made this point before that this is often the case with an accessory apartment. It sounds like a lot of relief, but it's because of the way that the statute is drafted. But if you think about it, a lot of these smaller lots, housing is going to be sought for this type of development because they're in more moderately priced neighborhoods where the need for affordable housing is often greater, particularly among family units. So we would have, sorry, Grandpa?
Yes.
Grandpa's going to occupy an accessory apartment. We have 3 bedrooms. That's son-in-law, daughter, 2 kids. That's how it would be developed. We submit to be no impact to the character of the neighborhood because the accessory apartment is appropriately sized and appropriately set back from adjacent properties. The accessory apartment also, I will note, complies with the town's pyramid restrictions. We submit the benefits sought by the applicant cannot be achieved by any other method other than a zoning variance due to the limited lot size and, to some extent, lot width. The grant of variance will not have an impact on the physical and environmental conditions of the neighborhood because the accessory apartment, again, is appropriately sited. The board should also take notice that the property owner will upgrade the sanitary systems by installing the new IA out system, alternative system, which will serve both the accessory structure and the principal dwelling. So ultimately, we're going to hopefully weigh the benefit to the applicant, the variance is granted, against the detriment to the public health, safety, and welfare in the neighborhood. Here, the benefit to the applicant would be the ability for an extended family to continue to stay together by exercising the affordable housing option provided in the code. We submit there is no detriment to the neighborhood. That concludes my opening comments.
Okay. A couple of things. The first thing, just a clarification purposes, the notice for this application has for a proposed accessory apartment within an existing dwelling. It's not within an existing dwelling?
No.
It's a separate apartment. Yeah, so I just wanted to clarify that first. So there was just an error in the notice that I just wanted to have on the record. Secondly, we did get some comments from the building department, maybe from Marjorie Riley. I'm not sure.
Yes.
You were.
About the outdoor shower.
About the outdoor shower.
Address that.
Yep. And I think that was pretty much it.
That's on the main dwelling, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. And then besides that, we have the accessory apartment law is for, exists for many reasons. One of them is to help families, help families be able to afford to live here. And it's, if you're a young person and you want to try to buy a house in the town of Southampton, it is a hardship.
Good luck.
It is at best.
Yeah, but
It's just it's a real issue, significant issue. So there is that benefit to the community with the application. As far as the relief itself, we routinely grant relief for lot size, that is for lot area, being a lot that's less than 30,000 square feet, because often these are the people who need help with the with staying in the community the most. People who have smaller lots, not who have the larger ones. And as for the other relief that's being requested, the setback relief, in my view, it is quite modest. So, but in any case, wanted to ask, are there any other Comments, members of the board, questions? Katie, Anthony?
I just wanted to clarify, Susan had mentioned this to me, and she was correct. This area is in a census designated place, so it only requires the 20,000. So just when we write up for decision, it'll be
It's
on a
not
lot
30,
that is less
it's
than
20.
20,000.
It's better
It's in
for
the
you.
CDC.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's better
okay.
for you.
How do you find that out? I don't see that in the GIS. How would I know
Well,
that?
it's because it's in
I
the,
saw it in the code.
it's in the town's request to extinguish town development
okay.
right, and they referenced it.
Yeah, I didn't see it as like a overlay either. I
All right,
didn't
so
have time.
just because I read it, that's all. But it's better for
Glad you
you.
did. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, so if there aren't any other questions, I want to ask if there's anyone from the public who's waiting to be heard, who's here this evening in connection with the application of Warner. This is for property located at 30 Straight Path in North Sea. And next, wanted to ask if there was anyone who's waiting to be heard on Zoom in connection with the application of Warner for property located at 30 Straight Path in North Sea. If you're waiting to be heard on Zoom, this would be the time to let us know by raising your hand.
There is,
No hands?
there are
I
hands.
think-
There are hands, okay.
Oh, boy.
My daughter.
Oh, okay. I was getting nervous, right?
Yeah, she was trying to get on. I know she was trying to get on.
There we go.
Well, that's us, but that's not the person on Zoom yet.
Yeah, we'll give her a minute.
Yep,
Oh,
there we
There she
go.
is.
how you doing?
My
Hello.
daughter.
Hi, how are you? Just have to swear.
Hi.
Hi.
Is the mute, I hope I'm not muted.
You're not muted, we can hear you. I just have to swear you in. If you can state your name and address for the record, please.
No problem. Casey Warner, 30 Straight Path.
And do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, if you'd like to tell us your comments.
I just wanted to come in, say hello, thank you for your time. I appreciate it. I wish I could be there in person, but I have my kids here.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Appreciate your giving us a few comments.
You look good on TV.
Is there anything else you'd like to tell us?
That's it. I just really wanted to thank you for your time and listen to your decision.
Okay, very good. Okay, all right. Thank you so much, greatly appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, do we have anybody else?
No one else on Zoom.
No one else on Zoom? Okay. If not, Mike, it is yours.
Well, Mr. Warner, you're a good dad and a good grandfather, so thank you for stepping up to do this for your family.
It's gonna be my built-in babysitter.
Yeah, right.
I did the same thing in my house.
As we go. It's gonna be her problem.
Now
I mean, babysitter for you.
Yes, that's what
Oh,
I'm
but in the
saying.
meantime, you're gonna be babysitting for
Yeah,
them.
I gotta work now, but it's gonna pay off later.
Yeah, all right.
One or two or four, maybe they'll play together.
And now you'll only have 500 square feet to keep clean.
Yes.
Right?
That's plenty.
All right, so, yeah, we will close this public hearing. We will leave it open for written submissions, although I don't think we're expecting anything from anybody, are we? No. No? Okay.
Well, there's a correction in terms of what the variance will say.
Right, so.
Yeah,
just
does that need to be
20,000
corrected?
detached.
Instead of attached, it's detached, okay.
And also 20,000.
20 instead of 30.
And the 20,000 versus the, so there's not a problem getting that
No.
done by 9:30, September 30th?
Well, there's nothing we have to do.
Right, right.
We'll do that internally.
Yeah.
Yes.
We'll leave that open till written submissions until September 30th with a decision on October 6th. Okay?
Second.
Okay. All right, Mr. Daly,
Aye.
Ms. Kern,
Aye.
Ms. Burgess,
Aye.
Mr. Tudhill,
Aye.
Mr. Macedonio.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Thank you all. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
Have a good rest of your
Appreciate your
day.
time and
Yep.
good to see
And
the
Mr.
town.
Warner.
thank you for your service. Appreciate it.
Mr. Warner, was your daughter a teacher or a teacher's aide?
Yes, she was. Yep. She was in Southampton.
Excellent.
Thank you
All right,
so much.
bye-bye now.
You're welcome.
Item 6 on the agenda is Michael Gluckman and Lila Hudea Gluckman, 38 Cliff Drive, Noyak, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-9-1-45. Applicant requests relief from the following provisions of the town code for a proposed two-story dwelling on a non-conforming lot. 1, 330-84D, pyramid height for a total pyramid encroachment of 2,752.13 cubic feet, 1,042.79 cubic feet on the north side of the property, and 1,709.34 cubic feet on the south of the property. 2, 330-11, Residence District Table of Dimensional Regulations for a total lot coverage of 21.1%, where a maximum of 20% is required and any other relief necessary.
I'm just waiting on the affidavit. Thank you. Thank you very much. The board has jurisdiction.
Okay. Good evening.
Good evening.
Hi. Unless you're an attorney, I have to swear you in?
Certainly.
Okay, so you can state your name and address, please.
Ryan Thomas Kestner, 509 County Road 39, Southampton, New York.
And do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay. You can tell us about the application.
Sure. This application is for Gluckman, as you know. It's over in the Bay Point area of Southampton. And as you know, a lot of those lots are undersized. They're undersized by as much as 50% in some cases. I believe this current zoning is R10. This one, it has a lot area of, I think, 7,400 square feet, which makes it undersized by about 25%.
Yep, no, and we're familiar, I'm
Okay.
especially familiar with that area. I mean, we've had, several applications.
My last count, it was there were about 20 granted for various things, from pyramid to whatever else.
A lot of pyramid relief in that
Right,
neighborhood.
and that's just the nature of the lot, because when people
Yeah.
are spec building or whatever, it's very
Yeah.
difficult.
Yeah.
The other thing that's very difficult is some of the terrain over there. It actually goes up on a hill and then it comes back down. This is an example of that terrain, the way that it works. It goes from elevation 30 down to like 20-something over there. So what it does is it brings the average existing grade way down, which actually caused a bigger pyramid encroachment. It's not like one of these flat lots that you got, let's say, on Sandpiper or wherever, where it's nice and flat and you can make everything work. What we're doing here is we're asking for the pyramid relief for the house, which you wouldn't be able to get with a traditional house either. And I think the existing house, just by eyesight, looks like it's in pyramid encroachment. I don't know by how much at the moment. And I don't.
That information actually would be helpful, though, if you can get that.
Okay, we could certainly work on that. And what we're asking for is nothing that hasn't been done before. We're asking for 0.14% on the lot coverage.
Yep.
And we're asking for like 2752 on the pyramid. And to the north side is about 40% less than what we have on the south side of those things. It's, it's a small house. It's under 3,000 square feet. I think the one across the street's like 5,000 or 6,000, something like that. The bigger one on the 20,000 square foot lot's a huge lot over there. And we're improving the neighborhood. The current house is just, it's a blight. It's not Hamptons. Doesn't look good, anything like that. Structurally, it still needs some work in there. It's undersized to today's codes and things of that nature. And, it's also, we're trying to make the community nicer and do stuff like that. For the record, I actually did the house over on 28 Bayview Road for Connor Development, which I believe Bruce had represented a few years back.
Okay.
Similar style house, all that good stuff. And that's it.
Okay. So the total lot coverage relief, 20 to 21.1, that is minimal.
Yes.
That's just minimal. The pyramid relief is within the range of what we often grant, but sometimes I'll see where other members of the board are. There may be, a discussion about whether it can be reduced to some extent. But maybe you've already been working on that, and maybe you refined it as much as you could. But so there may be a conversation to be had about that, and I'll just ask you about the pyramid.
Right, so may I demonstrate?
Sure.
So what we have over here, you can see the plates, the first floor plate, the second floor plate. We are within our setbacks. We're not asking for any type of setback relief whatsoever. So even if we did a 2-story house in here with the, 4 or 5 bedrooms, we would still wind up needing pyramid relief in here. This particular style house is, obviously, it's a modern house, which lends itself to more boxy geometry and things of that nature, which is really the trend. And, when these guys spec build, they have to go with what is hot today. That's how they make their money and things of that nature. So, again, we looked at several different ways of doing this. We looked at pushing it back, pulling it forward, doing everything else. But the problem is as we go back, let me demonstrate it with here. We don't have a heck of a lot of room here to that setback, and we're trying to get a pool in here. We're also trying to avoid any rear yard lot coverage variances and things of that nature as well. So we're trying to be as conservative as we can and still provide a good product and be reasonable with everything.
Yeah, and another thing I just want to mention is that, well, each variance application stands on its own merits.
Sure.
Other applications in the Bay Point area for pyramid relief have been a lot more than 2,700 cubic feet. We've had quite a few applications that were significantly more than that.
And we're not looking to set a precedent, anything like that. We're looking to just make it a better area. And it's, again, when you're dealing with something that's 25% less, I mean, that's, picture yourself getting into your car and you're missing a quarter of it. I mean, it just doesn't work. And that's really what happens here a lot in Bay Point, as you know.
Yeah, tiny lots, and you just can't fit everything in.
You just can't, it's impossible.
What are the ceiling heights?
Right now, we have ceiling heights set at 9, 1 1/8, which are pre-cuts.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
9, 1 1/8, which are pre-cuts.
What is a pre-cut?
Pre-cut stud. The wall framing.
Yeah, okay, got it. So in other words, it's cheaper to have a pre-cut.
It's 100% cheaper, yeah.
No, I get it.
What was that referring to, the height of
Of
the ceiling?
And that's the 2 floors, are both that height?
Yes.
9.
9 foot.
Yeah, because it says 8 what, to the top of the window, and then 9, 1 and 1?
Yes, so it's 8 to the windows and 8 to the doors, which is typical.
Yeah,
So we
but
have 1
that's,
foot
but the
above that.
ceiling is 9.1.
Yes, ma'am, but we need that also for the structure and things of that nature as well.
Yep. So,
Part of your other problem is not a flat lot either, right? Is that-
No, it curves. It goes from 34, I think it comes up to 36 up over here, down to 26. So I got a 10-foot gradient, and by the lot going like this, it naturally brings down my average existing grade. As you can see here, my first floor is up here, my average existing grade is about 3 feet below that right now.
well, I'll just give you my perspective, for what it's worth. If this was an application for 6,000 or 7,000 cubic feet of pyramid relief, I'd be all for doing, really knocking it down, reducing that number a lot. But for 2,700 or so, 2,752 cubic feet, if it's going to cost you twice as much money to, or a significant amount of money, and you could put in an estimate as to what it would be, so we could, see what the financial burden would be, the cost would be on the applicant to reduce those ceiling heights, that's persuasive to me in terms of that's
They won't sell the house.
yeah.
When was the last time you saw a new house sell with 8-foot ceilings?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
It doesn't.
It doesn't. We're not, out in the Hamptons, we're a different world.
Well, that's
But
not
that's
true.
not
The board does reduce the ceiling heights.
We
Adam's
do.
saying it,
We do.
it may not be.
Okay.
And it may not
nominally.
be both floors, it may be the top floor. I mean, but I think Adam's point is it would be helpful to have a cost estimate.
Yeah, as to what the financial hardship would be. That I think would be persuasive, because you indicate, 100%, I don't know if that's 100% of the entire structure or 100% of the framing, but let's say, if it's going to cost the applicant, an extra, we need to get you by the microphone.
Just get to the microphone, yeah.
Another, I don't know, $100,000 in order to build this house, just hypothetically, by reducing those ceiling heights, that's something for us to consider.
Sure, no, I understand, but it also hurts on the sell point as well, and that can hurt them
No.
long-term.
Well-
That you can't account
Well,
for.
what I'm
But
suggesting.
I get the
That's not our
construction.
Right, but my suggestion is it's to your benefit.
Right.
And to the applicant's benefit to give us this information.
Okay, I got you.
As a consideration.
Okay, you got it.
Yeah, okay. Other than that, I mean, any other concerns?
I have no problem with the lot coverage, but, I think, again, it's a small lot, it's a lot of pyramid relief for a small lot. I'd be interested to hear if there are community comments about this, and that's, but I definitely do think you need to come in with a cost estimate of it reducing and what it would
Versus
cost.
going to 8-foot ceilings as opposed to 9-foot
Or-
ceilings?
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
Right.
Okay.
Let's say, give us an estimate for one floor being reduced to 8 feet, and 2 floors being reduced to 8,
And also what
both
the
floors.
pyramid difference would be
Right.
with that.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And, and these are just things that we have to consider, and this is not unique to this application. If you follow our applications for pyramid relief, we often have these conversations, but particularly when it's for larger numbers. We have had, we force applicants sometimes to significantly make changes to what they're proposing. The other thing I want to mention is that the style of the house may be driving a little bit of this too. And I understand that's a choice and maybe marketing for the sale of the property aspect of it, but, it could be that there's a different design of the house that would reduce the amount of pyramid relief as well. So I just, want to mention that.
Sure.
But other than that, I didn't have any other comments other than, have you heard from the neighbors? Neighbors are here. Okay, very good. All right. Okay, so I just have to swear you in. If you can just, I'll let you get yourself situated first.
I'm just going to take this down because I can't see.
Okay, hi. If you can just state your name and address for the record, please.
Nancy Newman, 36 Cliff Drive, Sag Harbor, New York.
And do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
And Nancy, do you live next door to this property?
Yes,
Okay.
just on the north side. It's actually a family home. My mom and dad own it. Is my 3 minutes starting, or can I just do a quick introduction?
Quick
Okay.
introductions. good.
So our family lives on the north side of the proposed home at 36, and we oppose this immensely for some of the reasons that you had already brought up. But I have a speech, and I'd like to read it, because it gets to all the points, I believe. Well, I'm personally outraged at the request of the new homeowners for the variance at 38 Cliff Drive in the Bay Point development. I was shocked after seeing the plans for the enormous building, home that's going to go up in the non-conforming lot. The plans for the new construction look beyond reckless. The new homeowners, who I believe are here, are builders. They build homes, renovate them, and then they sell them at a huge profit at the expense of the neighbors in the community. My family has lived at 36 Cliff Drive since the 50s. My grandfather and father built it. Our family built the residence that stands today, as is. Our extended family enjoys the summer home, both of my parents, all summer, 91 years old. It appears that the new homeowners, the Gluckmans, don't care about the residents of Bay Point, specifically in reference to this newly acquired property. I do know that they have built other homes within the Bay Point, and they look very nice. This is unfortunately a very unique piece of property. The question on the application said, would you grant, will the grant of the variances have an adverse effect on the physical and environmental conditions in the neighborhood or in the affected town? And they said no, that there's many two-story homes in the area that were built within the pyramid law. Many variances that were granted, just as the architect had said. But that doesn't give this application the right to such an egregious violation of the pyramid law. The builders do have other options, and Chairman, I believe you brought some of that up. The builders could design the house like a wedding cake. So the cake, the box right now, this is what we refer to it as, goes straight up, and then they're putting an observation deck on the top. There's no reason they can't have a first floor, bring it up, have a nice little deck, and then the observation deck up on the top. If you look at the plans, where did they go? Well, anyway, you have copies, right?
They're right here. You want me to put them back up? I just couldn't see you. They're right here.
Yeah, if you want to, if they don't have any objections.
No, do you need to stand? Do you want to stand?
That would be fine.
Okay.
And I'll talk at the same time. If you look at the third floor, the builder's requesting a third floor observation deck. So now we've already discussed the 9-foot ceilings, and now you're going to have a deck on the top. It's the full length of the home. That's really unacceptable. There's maybe a few homes, in one or two in Bay Point, that have that, and I don't know how they got those variances. I wasn't around to even know that this was going on, but I'm around for this one. That observation deck will have a negative effect on my family's privacy, as it's within 15 feet of our property line, their property line. It's basically going to be a 3-story house, and that's not including the full basement that they're putting in, which you don't count as a floor because it's a basement. So our activities will be hampered, and it's just going to be a constant reminder of a lack of privacy. And don't forget, we've been there since the 50s. One of the things about the observation deck, which is what some of the other people have done in the area, is they put those glass partitions up, and I believe that that's also in the diagram. The next thing after that are the privacy screens. So you have a pyramid law that they're breaking or requesting to break, and then they're going to put the privacy screens up, which blocks out even more of the sunshine. Don't forget the wet bar that's going to go up there. I don't know who regulates that, but that's not in the plan. I'm sure there's going to be one. The loss of the sunlight on our property, the bay breeze. That's why we don't live in Pine Neck. We live in Bay Point. There's no air in Pine Neck. There's no breeze. We don't want to lose that. We don't want to lose it because of the size of the proposed house when they have other options. The increased grade on the property in the backyard for the pool is going to affect our land because it's going to affect the water. The pool is at this height, and both myself and my other neighbor are going to have all the water running off onto their property. So I don't understand why the grade has to go up to accommodate the pool. Why can't the pool just go in the ground? Because right now, if you sit in our backyard and you look through the 38 Cliff Drive to the next property, they're all nice and level. That should be looked into. Also, during the application, they submitted the plans for this small non-conforming lot, and the phrase that you like to use, it's a self-created hardship. They don't have to put this big house on this property. This is outrageous. The Gluckmans they can work within the confines of the pyramid law and put up a beautiful home, like some of the other homes that they have put up. You as the board members have an obligation to the people. The people that are here are just a small amount of people that we were able to get together to physically come here on a Thursday at 6 o'clock. Some of the other people are on the Zoom, and some of the people are writing letters in, specifically because of the size of the house, which addresses the pyramid law, which addresses the parking problem. The board members, we depend on you. The pyramid law was put into effect for a reason, to prevent the destruction of our community and the communities in the township. You cannot afford to look the other way, and we cannot afford to let you look the other way. We need your help. This isn't a us against them. It's let's figure something out that's going to work within the neighborhood. If you allow this house to be built as it's proposed, along with some of the other ones that have been accepted, and I'll get to that in a second, your legacy will be that of how you destroyed a community one home at a time. It is absolutely heartbreaking to my family to have that size of the house next to us. My second request.
We're gonna ask you to wrap up.
I'm wrapping it up right now.
Okay,
I'm going to give you all copies of this.
Good.
Take it home and read it.
We didn't time you, but.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
3 minutes was a while ago.
Okay, so I'm driving around the neighborhood. Chairman, you had mentioned something about other variances in Bay Point. The architect mentioned number 28 Bayview Drive. The two neighbors that live there are so pissed off, the one across the street is ready to move. Is this the community you want to build? You had a gentleman here who's trying to bring his family in. You have people that want to leave who just looked at this because they're so outraged that this is even put on the table. The architect knows this
Excuse
is
me,
big.
an application is made
Yes.
because an applicant brings an application
just
before our
giving my
board.
opinion.
It is not for us to decide what applications are brought
Okay,
before us.
okay, I accept that. I accept that.
Okay.
You can see I'm very upset about this. My whole family, my mother was crying. One question for her. I showed her what the house is going to look like. It's straight up box. And she goes, why? Maybe you can answer that. I don't know.
Okay.
So on that happy note,
I'll
I would
take
like
them.
to each one of you
I'll
have a
take them all and
copy
pass them
of
down.
the request for an on-site inspection. And those are,
Sure.
and that's the top one. I believe that the on-site inspection, you have 2 weeks or 3 weeks or whatever, would really help you understand not only the configuration of the property which the architect brought up, but the disappointment of the neighbors of the variances that you did approve. This isn't just a 1% variance, it's a
Yeah,
huge house.
and when we have an application for variance relief,
Yes.
so you all understand, the adjacent property owners are notified,
Yes.
and they can come in, And you can feel free to see other variance applications that we've heard in the Bay Point area. Sometimes the applications, the variance requests are granted, but a lot of times they are modified significantly. And so, in any case,
Even modified?
each of them is treated on its own merits, but if you think it's helpful to give us copies of other, variance decisions of our board, feel free to do so, okay?
I would really like you to just do a site inspection of 38 Cliff Drive and also 28 Bayview and 81 Harbor to see what it's like when you've built that home. They're almost identical, and I think he was one of the architects, if not the architect, for 28 Bayview. It's a straight-up box, and the house next to it went into the pyramid law, and it was accepted. So somebody accepted it, the board. So just asking for your help. We need your help on this.
Okay.
Thank you.
Appreciate your comments, thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to be heard?
Was there something being passed down?
Yes,
Oh, all right.
didn't make it all the way.
Okay. Chairman.
Okay. This looks like the original.
There should be two originals.
Okay.
All right, so I
Let's
should
see.
take them because
But
Does
the
one of them
originals-
have a stamp on it, original?
Does one of those have a stamp on it?
No, I got
one.
the originals here.
Okay, we got the other original.
all right, I don't have the other original.
Give us just a
The
second.
stampy one?
Yep, Keith has the stamp one.
All right, here, Keith, you need a...
Just give us 1 second. and we'll-
Okay, all right,
Give that back to Keith.
and then I have more copies. All right, so there we go, we'll trade. You guys have a full
I
set?
only have one.
Okay, which one, you're missing that one? We have more.
Okay,
Okay.
sorry.
Okay, all right, so I just have to swear you in, if you can state your name and address, please.
My name is Patricia Bubalis. I live at 358 Ferry Road in Sag Harbor, New York. I am the owner of 42 Cliff Drive in Bay Point, Sag Harbor.
Okay, and do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth,
I
and nothing
do.
but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and give us your comments.
Okay, I will also say this is my daughter Marie Bubalis, and she's my caregiver, and she's my life estate on the deed. So we have the house together. Next month, I'm going to be celebrating having the house 48 years in my name, and I bought it when I was like 24 years old. So I'm like, well, I'm going to be 52 next month. Anyway, the variance that they are requesting, I am against the variance, and I'm also against the pyramid law. This is this is a copy of my property right now. As you can see, Cliff Drive is right here. Their house that they're proposing is right next door, next to me. I have, my house is approximately 1,100 square feet. I have a 10 by 10 lot, and I have not improved on it. My house has 2 bedrooms and 1 bathroom. I know the house next door, and it was owned by the Silverbergs. Mr. Silverberg was Anne Frank's good friend, and there have been several books noting this, and Frank, from the Holocaust. And they did put an addition on the house, which is the second floor already that they have on the house. And with that second floor, it is a whole story higher than my present house now. So my house is adjacent to 38 Cliff Drive. And Bay Point was started as a haven for older residents who wintered in Florida. Homes were built, they consisted of 3 bedrooms and 1.5 baths, or 2 bedrooms with a sunroom, which I have, and 1 bathroom. I understand that everyone wants to renovate a home and make it special for them, but this is not a renovation, but it's a total consumption of a piece of property. My objections to the variance are this. This past year, the proposed builders already built and flipped a home on Cliff Drive, a couple doors down from Nancy. And it was a very nice job. But it was it was a 1-story ranch, and they kept it a ranch. They did add a pool in the back, which is fine. But this house, they are cramming too much house onto such a small lot. Why should all the surrounding homes have to suffer because they want to get more money from, building and flipping the house? For instance, there's only 8 feet from the proposed swimming pool to the backyard of the neighbor's house, 8 feet back.
There is no relief being requested for the pool.
It's allowed.
No.
It's allowed.
Yeah, there's no relief being requested for the pool.
But the distance from the pool to the back is just 8 feet.
It is conforming.
Conforming, okay. Okay, and so instead, we say instead they should make a smaller home so they can have room. Bay Point is a peninsula. It's in a flood zone, sensitive to waste sewage. There are 4 bathrooms are too much. There's already 1 big box house across the street that Nancy mentioned, and I know all about it. And I swear, because that person came to me and batted his eyes at me and being an older woman, being stupid, I was swooned by him, by the builder. So anyway, So, but who wants to look out the window and see just a tall, huge wall? Big blocks, big walls block wind, and the front lawn is being removed to put 4 cars there. They're, just making the property itself even smaller than it already is. A berm would cause the runoff, as Nancy mentioned, in the direction of my property, also creating gullies and wrecking my lawn. People are attracted to the calmness, the gentle mannerisms of our area, and we should not be bulldozed by boulders who want to try to squeeze the living space, every ounce of living space out of every foot of property adjacent to the homes. This is invading our privacy. I wish that people would bow down more to God than they bow down to selling things and trying to get more money. I'm just very disappointed. Unfortunately, I've had a lot of illnesses. I'm very thankful to have my daughter to support me, and give up her life to support my life. And otherwise, I think I would have been right on that big box originally and gone against it, because I know he's in violation of things. He said he's one thing and he's not. And women, don't get taken. But anyway, thank you. Maria?
Okay, thank you for your comments.
Maria? Step ahead.
Okay. So I just have to, if you're going to give comments, just have to swear you in as well. If you can state your name and address, please.
Marie Bobolis, 358 Ferry Road.
And do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but
Yes,
the
I do.
truth?
Can you spell your last name?
Boulis.
Okay.
Again, just a short little comment, just to piggyback on what my mom was saying. And I just said, the purpose of the zoning board is to grant relief if there are extenuating purposes or circumstances or hardships. Please show me what kind of and I know you've touched upon this tonight, so.
That's, it used to be called a practical difficulty test. It doesn't exist anymore. It is a 5-part area variance test.
That's what we were talking about.
So
I'm
character of
aware.
the community, substantial, self-created, basically.
Right, which is community.
Well, absolutely.
Right,
yes.
absolutely. So I was just
Yeah.
piggybacking on what she was saying, right?
Yep.
And that's pretty much it. I'm just here to support, knowing that I'm part and parcel of the property as well, so
Yeah.
I'm here to
So
support.
I just have a question for the neighbors. Would you be willing to have a discussion
Yes, absolutely.
with the agent for the applicant?
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's not that we're against
It's not
doing
right.
renovation. I mean, their second floor is
Just
already.
need to get you to the microphone, sorry.
Excuse me, the second floor is already a whole floor higher than mine, and then they're going to put another floor on top of that. That's,
Okay. Well, they're not asking for height relief,
I'm-
but they are asking for pyramid relief. It's a
I
little
think I'm more
confusing.
concerned also with the berm, with.
Yep. You move them
Yeah,
up.
I think I'm also more concerned with the berm, with putting the pool on top of the berm, just because,
Yep,
you know.
that's health department.
I know.
Yeah, that's.
I know,
that-
that's
that-
health.
That part of the application.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
I understand,
Yeah.
so it's all.
And also, the building
part and parcel.
department is required to.
Is required to do.
Us make
understand.
sure that there's not going to be.
Runoff.
Runoff, things like that.
Absolutely.
So that's not within our purview.
I understand.
But we hear your point.
our last name is Remkes, and we've been in Sag Harbor for, 4 or 5 generations now, and it's sad when you see so many things. And we're part of the parcel that was all changed around to make Steinbeck Park. That was our family's years ago. And we had a business there, and we weren't allowed to do anything to the business. We had a suite, if you can imagine, 9 tiny room motel, and we weren't allowed to go out 8 feet. And all of a sudden, you have that big monstrosity, J. Bielski's building, which is right on the property line. And it's, it's sad. It's sad when you see things changing so much that everybody that you know is moving away. And we have to lose. But, well, thank you very much for listening to all.
Okay, appreciate your comments.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else? Evening. Just have to swear you in as well, if you can just state your
Absolutely.
name and address.
Donna DeLeo, 125 Fox Hollow Lane, Village of Southampton.
And do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Do you own property in this area? Because the address you indicated was Village of South. were you-
I'm in the town and the village.
In the village of
Yes.
Sag Harbor?
No. Oh, and yes, in Sag Harbor
In
as
Sag
well.
Harbor, 'cause that's
I'm
where-
representing my mom.
Okay.
I'm representing my mom. She's 89 and she can't be here, and her
Okay.
house is in trust. So I just.
And her house is in
Her
the
house,
vicinity?
her house is 35 Ridge Drive, so she is directly behind the house that's being
Okay.
renovated, or built.
Yep.
And so I took a look at it the other day from the back of her house, as well as speaking to the folks downstairs at the zoning board, just to get an idea of what was going on. When you look at it, the relief that they're asking for and in conjunction with the style of the house, is just going to create a big box in the backyard from my mother's house. You're correct that the pool can be 8 feet from the property line, but then the house is not that far from it. So when you're in the backyard and you're looking from my mom's house, and the ground right now is level, by the way, so I can look straight through, it's just going to be one giant box, and it's going to create a big obstruction. I understand, I think, what the aim of the builders are. They're going to raise the grade, and then we're going to ask for pyramid relief, and then we're going to put another story on the third floor. Right now, the house has peaks and eaves, and it allows the light to come through, and it's not such an
There's no relief
obstruction.
for a three-story dwelling. The relief that's being requested is pyramid relief and total lot coverage.
Yes, I understand that. I understand that, but also I understand the intention, having seen the plan, so we have to take that into consideration as well. I just mirror what the residents have said and what the neighbors have said, and I would be in opposition right now to it as it exists. I would be in opposition to any sort of relief.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Thank you for your
All right,
comments.
thank you. And also, I do want to say something as well. I received something in the mail, ostensibly, I guess, from the builders and their architect, and it was incomplete. So the paperwork was incomplete. So I did not have 100% notification here. I checked it out with the folks downstairs, and they said, yes, in fact, you did not receive everything. So I would just caution them to be a little more diligent when they're sending paperwork out, that we have everything. This is what sent me to the town, to take a look at it.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Anyone else? Okay. Sure, I just want to check to see, oh, you got one more person?
Very quick.
No problem.
I'm hoping to be very quick.
Okay, and it's set to swear you in. If you can state your name and address.
Lila Boudere, Gluckman, 60 Harbor Drive.
And do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing
I
but the
do.
truth? Okay,
Okay.
give us
So
your
you're one
comments.
of the applicants.
I am the applicant. To start, I grew up in East Hampton, so I'm also local. I've watched it change. I know that it can be frustrating to people, and I know that, obviously the concern is what the house looks like. I don't know if that's for them to decide what my house gets to look like. If it's a square box and we're just asking for a small relief, I understand. I built a house on the other side of Nancy. She was really along during the entire process, asking me where I put my pool equipment, asking me where I put my air conditioning condenser. I've always
Yep.
done
And you-
exactly what she wanted me to do.
And you need to address your comments to us?
Yes, so I'm just, there's a lot, I feel bad, obviously, that they feel so upset about this, but I think that as Nancy asked, you come out and take a look. I would like you to come out and take a look if you have time to do that, because our lot sits so much lower in elevation than Nancy's. When I was on the second floor today, I took a picture, which Ryan will send over to you, and at my second floor, I'm just at the height of her first floor house. So there's really no way that I could be towering so much higher than her because of the way that the lot's set up. So I encourage that. Ryan will help give supporting information on that, but us towering over that house, it's not likely.
Okay,
I think that's it.
okay, very good.
Oh, yeah, we live in Bay Point, and everybody parks on the street, so it's really annoying. So while we're asking for parking relief is because everybody's cars is on the street. In fact, next to us at 36 Cliff Drive, where Nancy lives, she parks in her yard.
Yeah.
Because
Well, There's no variance relief for
We're
parking.
not? There should have been. Okay, but it's a parking problem, and there's a parking problem in
If
Bay
you
Point.
need relief for parking, we need to know that.
Okay. Anything else you want me to touch on? No. Okay. Thanks, guys.
Yep, no problem. Thank you. Yes, please.
I want to thank everybody that came here. I really do. I want to thank you for your comments. I want to thank you for your insight. The house that's to the south of us, I believe that lot is 10,000 square feet, conforming. The house right behind us has to be close to 20,000 square feet, at least, right around there, 17, 20,000. They're already on conforming lots and things of that nature. The house to the north of us appears that it is got to be really close to that property line there. It looks like it's within 5 to 8 feet or so on the north side. So even if when we go up with this particular structure, it's not going to block out that much sunlight on that existing house. It certainly won't block out anything on the southern house. And the house over to the east, I mean, you might get a little bit from the sunsets, but you would get that with any structure that's over there regardless. I would like to, also say, I don't think you guys destroy neighborhoods one house at a time. I certainly don't believe that. I haven't seen that yet. You do more good with the apartments and preserving houses, like you did on Flying Point with me not too long ago. So I don't believe that comment is just to you at all. In closing, we will examine the floors. We will examine the cost difference in there. Will it be significant? It might be. It might be. We have to see exactly what it is, obviously. But it's not just the frame, it's everything that goes in there. But we can get a rough idea of what it would cost and stuff like that. And I would like to just thank you for your time, and I would like to thank everybody else for showing up. Thank you.
Yep.
Will you also examine a redesign of the house to minimize the pyramid encroachment?
The issue is that just the way the plates are set up, and
All right, are you saying no, or are you saying you will take a look?
I have to talk to my clients before I can comment on something like that. Because what that does, that changes so much once you start going in. I mean, it's a lot that's 25% lot less than what we have.
But, when we started out, we had, some comments. My primary focus was on the pyramid. We have some very unhappy neighbors. And so, I don't know whether a line of communication can take place to address their concerns, in addition to exploring options in terms of the reducing what is, not a huge number in terms of pyramid relief compared to what we see in other applications, but still, we have very unhappy neighbors. And if there can be a line of communication, I would encourage that to take place. The second thing I'd say is, I think we want you to come back. I don't think we're done. See what you can propose in terms of modifications to the application.
And I want to see the property, which I unfortunately was unable to do because of personal reasons, so I definitely will go to see the property.
And the application that went out to everybody is what was given to us by the town. And it was completed by the town and all that stuff. So we did exactly what was asked of us in terms of providing plans to certified mailings and whatever applications had to go in there. So there is no way that it was anything
I
that
think there was I think somebody was missing the first page or a page of the application, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
All
right.
Brian, you also mentioned other decisions, relief that was granted in the same neighborhood. Do you have them or
Yes.
reference them? Thank you.
Feel free to submit. And in between now and the next hearing date, anyone who wants to submit anything to us in writing, feel free to do so.
Excuse me.
And you'll even have time after the next hearing date to do that. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to check soon. I forgot. Too busy with,
You passed it to Susan, that's the original.
Before it's all Susan.
Since the original? Okay. And I also still have to ask whether there's anyone on Zoom waiting to be heard. So, well, I'm just going to hold on for a second. Is there anyone this evening who's waiting to be heard on Zoom in connection with the application of Gluckman? This is for property located at 38 Cliff Drive in Noyak. If you're waiting to be heard on Zoom, this would be the time to let us know by raising your hand.
We have 3 people.
Okay? That's why we get paid the big bucks.
Yeah.
I would wear purple.
Good evening. We can see you. Hopefully, we can hear you as well. Hi. I just have to swear you in unless you're an attorney.
I'm not an attorney.
Not an attorney, okay. If you can state your name and address, please.
Hi, my name is Barbara Newman, 3322 Southeast Sandpiper Circle, Port St. Lucie, Florida. 34952. I'm the owner of 29 Ridge Drive.
Okay, and if you, okay, and do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes,
Okay, so, so your property is an adjacent property?
yes.
Okay,
And I haven't had a chance to build on it yet, but it's in my dreams. And I just wanted to also comment that, you know, if the variances are granted to the builder and the current property owner, that they would then be able to build the home that they're proposing, and that is what concerns me, for all the same reasons of everything we've heard from the other neighbors, you know, the lack of, the change of the, you know, the wind and the sunshine and everything else, and, you know, that's pretty much what I have to say.
okay, all right, well, appreciate your comments.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I think we have two other people waiting to be heard. Hello, good evening. Hi. Hi, sir, unless you're an attorney, just have to swear you in. If you can state your name and address for the record, please.
My name's Drex Newman. The address will be my parents' 36 Cliff Drive, Sag Harbor, New York 11963. I'm one of the siblings with Nancy.
Okay, and do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do, I swear.
Okay, if you can give us your comments, please.
All right, so I sent a letter in to the board members. I'm hoping you all have it. I'm not going to read from the letter. I'd just like to go off my notes. So to the board members, I'm completely against the granting of a variance of the pyramid law on 38 Cliff Drive. What is the point of having a variance, or what's the point of having a law if everybody can put in for a variance? The house is simply way too tall and wide. My family has been next door for 5 generations and one of the first houses to be built on Bay Point. Allowing a variance will set a bad precedence and lead to every other house being bigger and taller. Pretty soon, Southampton will look like downtown Manhattan. Besides the roof line being exceeded, where is the sewage from a 5-bedroom, 5-bath house going to go on 0.2 acres? It's just too big and the lot's too small. It was noted several times by the architect that the lot is undersized, where in fact the house is oversized. That house is going to be almost the size of a Costco building. Sorry, I'm outside. I didn't know the helicopter was coming by. Anyway, besides the roof line being exceeded, excuse me. Anyway, counting the basement and the roof, the deck up on the roof, the house will have 4 floors. The roof deck alone is every bit as big as my parents' house. Also noteworthy is the fact that the homeowner was parking a car in front of the yard so you couldn't see the required sign posting. So very little neighbors knew about the variances being requested. And then when they did move the car, after we called the town, the sign was on the ground. So I feel like they're not being upfront with the neighborhood about what they want to do. In summary, this is all about money. You make a big house, and you make big profit. The lot's not undersized, the house is oversized. That whole comment that was just made about the house not being towering over my parents' house, I really hope you get out there and look at it, because the first floor of that house is the same as the first floor of my parents' house. And if they put a second floor above it and a deck above that, it's going to be towering. In summary, I request the board not approve the variance for this house on 38 Cliff Drive. That's all I got. Thank you for your time and the work you do.
Thank you for your comments.
Yes, sir.
And I think we have one more.
Yeah, we do.
Yep.
Is there one more?
He said there was one more.
What?
Just about.
He said there were 3 people.
Yeah. Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
where is it? Where is the person?
We can
There we go.
hear you.
Okay, hang on a second.
Okay. We can hear you, but we can't see you.
We gotta get the people here.
Oh, well,
Maybe you can start video? And if,
I've never done this before, so,
okay, well, we don't have to see you as long as we can hear you.
hang on, gotta have a IT person here sitting here trying to help me. Give me 1 second.
It should be on. I don't know why it's not.
You can speak. Okay, so we're just gonna go with the audio. If you can state your name and address for the record.
Audio's fine. But go ahead, fire away.
Okay, so you can state your name and address for the record, please.
William Newman, 3621 Taekwondo Road Street, San Diego, 92117. I'm one of the siblings of the owners of the house next door, 36 Cliff Drive.
Okay, and do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Okay, you can give us your comments.
Okay, am I allowed to read a comment from a neighbor 10 or 15 houses down the road that couldn't make the Zoom call?
Well, let me put it this way. We have a 3-minute time limit. We've been very patient. We've let this go on for well over an hour at this point with comments.
Yeah, okay.
So if you can abbreviate your comments, it would be greatly appreciated.
Well, yes, it's from Ray Selenik. He lives down the street. He's been there since 1967. And the impact of the granting of these, the approvals for homes that are outside the construction guidelines are harmful to the consistency of the Bay Point community. And he would like to urge those of you that are on the committee to pay great attention and interest to the wishes of the Bay Point residents that are very much upset and opposed to these oversized, mismatched designs. Please give every consideration to the options of the residents that express their serious worry and dissatisfaction about the neighborhood, of their neighborhood becoming altered to these mismatched designs. He's, basically just upset. He's about 10 or 15 houses down the road on Cliff Drive. And by the way, I think that was the architect that was started talking in the beginning. This is the furthest thing from a blighted community or a blighted house. It's a nice house. It's beautiful. It's kept up well. It fits the neighborhood. And I think that's a pretty poor comment to bring up. I've pretty much been in agreement with what everybody said. This, like my brother Drexel was saying, that first floor is going to be about even with our first floor. The basement below that, is a whole another 1,000 square feet. The second floor is gigantic, and when you take into account this variance, the variance is not so much on the ground floor as it is on the top floor. That's why we're going to end up with this gigantic structure that looks like a shopping center that's going straight up. It's going to be a lot easier for them to sell when you got a 1,000 square foot rooftop deck that you can see Connecticut on a good day. So if you adhere to the pyramid law, that deck is going to shrink by 50% or more, and it's going to be less sellable. So there's really no reason for us to lose our breezeway, our view, our sunlight, because we're on the north side, and my sister Barbara is going to lose some of her view and breeze as well, and sunlight. So I think it's just that the house doesn't fit the neighborhood. Just shrink it by 50%. Get 1,500 square feet instead of 3,000. Have it fit within the confines and the pyramid rule that we've all agreed upon from day one. If you keep giving out variances and let them do this, it's going to look like a bunch of brownstones in Brooklyn. You're going to drive down the street and we've lost all the charm of the neighborhood. There's plenty of people out there that buy houses and stay within the guidelines. There's zero reason to grant this variance. It's just good old-fashioned greed. It's pretty sad that we have to put up with this. And like my brother was saying, you need to shrink the size of the house. It's 3/4 of the size of a quarter lot. That's about 7,500 square feet. It's a small lot. Put a house on there that fits the lot. You don't have to say the house is too small to fit the size of the property. So anyway, that's all I got to say. I just think it's it's way too big, and, you know, exactly what my brother said, where's everything gonna go with, 4 different toilets and 5 different bedrooms? Just cramming this, gigantic house onto a very small lot to make a ridiculous profit. So that's all I have to say. I want to thank you for your consideration on all this, and I'm quite sure there'll be many more neighbors writing in about this. There's nothing wrong with tearing down a house and building up a nice house, but you don't need to encroach on other people's privacy. That's all I got to say. Thanks again for all your time.
No problem. Thank you for your comments. Okay, no one else on Zoom?
No one on Zoom.
Okay, all right. So if you can, Ryan, if you can just give I guess, do you want to give any other comments?
Come back and do it another time.
Yeah, we're gonna come back anyway.
You know, I do appreciate everybody, as usual. I can tell you right now, it's not going to be a 1,500 square foot home. There's no reason. I don't think the existing house is 1,500 square feet, so reducing it by 50% is not going to happen.
Okay.
That I know.
But a conversation could be had with the adjacent property owners who are very unhappy about what can be done. And I think primarily they're going to look for the same thing that we're asking you to explore.
Sure.
Which is reduction in the pyramid relief.
And the other half of that is that I can have a roof go up at 45 degrees up to the 32-foot mark, and I would be within my right as well, and it wouldn't require a variance at all. And then I can look into doing a 3rd story instead. I mean, that's another option that we have at that moment.
Need a variance for
Or we could get a variance or
Yeah.
whatever. But we could certainly put the roof up that high and get higher plates, and I would like to put that out there in case you guys want to do 14-foot floors or anything like that. We can certainly look into that. But
Listen, that conversation is
Sure.
counterproductive. You can have
It
that
is.
offline. I mean,
it is. No, I
The
understand.
board,
No,
what the
no,
board
no,
is
no,
hearing is
yeah,
you're
Well,
not
no, I
interested.
understand. I'm just saying.
What I'm saying is what the
I
board will
got
take
you.
away from that is you're not interested at all.
I am
Right.
very interested in
Modifying
helping.
this.
I'm
Yes.
very interested
Well,
in
we'd like to see
modifying
some
it.
evidence of that.
We're interested, we're all interested in modifying.
Okay, we're not going to be talking from the audience, okay. All right, okay, so in any case, when would you like to come back?
When is the next date? The next date's what, October?
October 6th, but that date, we may have an application on where, that's very long.
Next one then.
We have 7-Eleven, Landers.
Okay,
I
the
got
next
you.
meeting would be October 20th.
October
wait.
20th.
It's mine, right?
It's yours.
I'm okay with
All
it.
right, but you wanted to,
Yeah, I just wanted to say,
Michael
I
wants to
was
say
at the property, I'm very familiar with it. I used to live on that
Yeah.
street, I live nearby. I think this is too much pyramid relief for that small lot, and I think it's out of choice of the design of the house. And I think it's going to dramatically change that entire side of the street and the neighborhood. So I'm not in favor of this request as it stands.
Sure. Would you give me a number that I can hit for pyramid relief in terms of cubic foot?
No, I'm not going to negotiate.
It gives me a baseline to work with. Because I use numbers to
I don't
back
have
in.
any number.
Okay.
I'd rather see you change the design of the house to eliminate.
Okay. Fair
Greatly
enough.
reduce pyramid relief.
You got it.
I think a box house is a choice, and
Mm-hmm.
while we have granted relief of that similar size in Bay Point in the past, you take each one individually, and
Mm-hmm.
this is, I think, excessive for that particular lot.
Okay.
So that's my comments.
Okay. And other than that, I'm going to wait and see what you come back with.
Sure.
Before I say anything.
You got it.
well,
Okay.
clearly that's my position.
Yeah, but we have some really unhappy neighbors, which always concerns me.
Encourage you to talk, but as it stands, I'm okay with it, but I do encourage you to talk, try to reach a compromise.
Sure.
Yeah.
And so when is our next meeting? We decided not to do it at the next meeting.
Yes.
Because it's too busy.
Because it's too busy, so October 11th, October 20th.
20th, or so, okay.
Yes.
We'll be ready.
Yep.
Okay, so
Okay.
I move that we hold the hearing open and we reconvene on October 20th.
Second.
Okay, Ms. Kern,
Aye.
Mr. Macedonio,
Aye.
Ms. Burgess,
I,
Mr. Tudhill,
Aye.
Mr. Daly.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Thank you all for being here tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to move to adjourn item 12 on the agenda, Ivan Paskov, to our October 6th meeting.
if you guys could go outside and talk.
Yeah, if you can go outside and talk, please. Yep, yep.
Thanks.
Thank you for that excessive amount of time, I do appreciate it.
No problem, you're welcome. Folks, if you can please speak outside in the hallway. Our meeting is not over.
Yes, you have to leave.
Yeah,
Yes.
just speak outside.
Yeah.
Because we're,
No. No. We're done.
I'll repeat myself. I'm making a motion to adjourn Ivan Paskov to the October 6th meeting.
second.
Mr. Tuthill.
Aye.
Mr. Daly.
Aye.
Ms. Kern.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess.
Aye.
Mr. Macedonio.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. I'm sorry, the date on that?
10-6.
Ivan
Okay.
Paskov, okay. That
Okay.
was not the original, on the original adjournment list.
It was not.
You gotta-
Was not. The town attorney asked me to do it, okay?
I just was wondering, did I miss something? Okay, got it.
Missed it.
I did.
Yeah, he did.
All right, so I think we're on to a couple of
Item 14.
amendments.
Correction amendment, item 14.
Okay.
Edward Van Wyck, North Sea, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-94-3-2.1. This is 101 Big Fresh Pond Road.
Okay,
On September 17, 2020, by decision number D020090, this board granted the applicant variances for a proposed accessory apartment. This decision is being amended to correct a Scrivener's error, to wit, the date of the plans.
Second.
okay, I have an amended decision. This is in the matter of the application of Frederick Bronson Van Wyck for property located at 101 Big Fresh Pond Road in North Sea, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 900-94-3-2.1. On September 17, 2020, this board, by decision number D020090, granted a variance to allow the total floor area of a proposed accessory apartment to be in excess of the allowable 35% to a 39%. This decision, however, did not refer to the correct date of the plans. Therefore, decision number D020090 is hereby amended to refer to the plans prepared by Edward P. Armas, last dated August 18th, 2020. All other provisions and conditions of decision number D020090 remain in full force and effect. Mr. Daly. Aye. Ms. Kern.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess.
Aye.
Mr. Tuthill.
Aye.
Mr. Macedonio.
Aye.
Chair votes aye.
Item 15 on the agenda is 40 Ocean View Drive LLC, 40 Ocean View Drive in Shinnecock Hills, excuse me, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-271-1-44. On August 18, 2020, by decision number D022087, this board granted the applicant a pyramid variance for a proposed two-story dwelling. This decision is being amended to correct a Scrivener's error, to wit, the date of the floor plans and elevations.
Okay, I have an amended decision in the matter of the application of 40 Ocean View Drive LLC for property located at 40 Ocean View Drive in Shinnecock Hills, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 900-271-144. On August 18, 2022, by decision number D022087, this board granted relief in connection with a proposed two-story dwelling. This decision, however, did not refer to the correct survey date. Therefore, decision number D022087 is hereby amended to refer to the survey prepared by Nathan Taft Corwin III, Surveyor, last dated July 8, 2022. All other provisions and conditions of decision number D022087 remain in full force and effect.
Second.
Mr. Daly.
Aye.
Mr. Tuthill.
Aye.
Mr. Macedonio.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess.
Aye.
Ms. Kern.
Aye.
Chair votes aye.
I'm gonna run and check something while you're doing that.
Okay.
The agenda said we were changing the floor plans and elevations, so I just want to make sure that
Okay.
I gave you the right one while you're.
Okay, well, while you're doing that, we'll go on to decisions. All right, so I have a decision in the matter of the application of Tracus Realty LLC for property located at Suffolk County Tax Map Number 900-209-217. This application is for property located at 405 Old Canoe Place Road, Shinnecock Hills. Applicant requests a single and separate determination for a nonconforming lot. On the basis of the evidence and testimony presented at the hearing, we find that no merger occurred as a matter of law, and thus the subject premises should be treated as a separate pre-existing lot. Therefore, this board finds that the subject premises located at 405 Old Canoe Place Road, Shinnecock Hills, Town of Southampton, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 900-209-217, is a single and separate lot of the size of 32,103 square feet, as shown on the survey prepared by Jeffrey W. Hatterer, Land Surveyor, last updated May 3rd, 2022, and is thus entitled to relief pursuant to Town Code 330-115D. Mr. Daly?
Aye.
Ms. Burgess?
Aye.
Ms. Kern?
Aye.
Mr. Macedonio?
Aye.
Mr. Tudhill?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. I next have a determination on the matter of the application of Eric Neuendorf for property located at Suffolk County Tax Map Number 900-290-212. This application is for property located at 8 Seashore Avenue, East Quogue. The applicant here requests variances in connection with a proposed garage addition to an existing dwelling on a lot burdened by 2 front yards. This board finds that the application passes the standards set forth in New York State Town Law and the Town Code. Therefore, this board grants the following relief from Town Code 33011, Residence Districts Table of Dimensional Regulations, for a proposed garage attached to an existing dwelling. 1, for a principal front yard setback of 17.2 feet where 40 feet is required from the northerly property line, Quogue Street, and 2, a principal front yard setback of 38.2 feet where 40 feet is required from the easterly property line, Seashore Avenue, as shown on the survey prepared by Barrett, Bonacci, and Van Weel, P.C., last revised June 28, 2022, and the plans prepared by Nicholas Anthony Vero, dated, I believe these will be RA, dated July 5th, 2022. Grant of the foregoing relief is subject to such other conditions and permits as applicant has already acquired or may otherwise have to acquire for final approval of the subject premises, including the legalization or removal of the shed on the premises prior to the issuance of any certificates for the proposed garage.
Second.
Mr. Daly?
Aye.
Mr. Tudhill?
Aye.
Mr. Macedonio?
Aye.
Ms. Burgess?
Aye.
Ms. Kern?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Next, have a determination in the matter of the application of Ziggy Ben Haim for property located at Suffolk County Tax Map Number 900-24-326. This application is for property located at 4529 Noyak Road, Noyak. Applicant requests a single and separate determination for a nonconforming lot. On the basis of the evidence and testimony presented at the hearing, we find that no legal merger occurred as a matter of law, and thus the subject premises should be treated as a separate pre-existing lot. Therefore, this board finds that the subject premises located at 4529 Noyak Road, Noyak, Town of Southampton, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 900-24-326, is a single and separate lot of a size of 14,821 square feet, as shown on the survey prepared by Jeffrey W. Hatterer, Surveyor, last revised February 9th, 2022, and is thus entitled to relief pursuant to Town Code 330-115D.
Second.
Mr. Daly?
Aye.
Ms. Kern?
Aye.
Ms. Burgess?
Aye.
Mr. Macedonio?
Aye.
Mr. Tudhill?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Next, I have a determination in the matter of the application of Blessing Fields LLC for property located at Suffolk County Tax Map Number 900-222-112. This application is for property located at 163 West Montauk Highway, Hampton Bays. The applicant here requests variances for pyramid encroachments in connection with the construction of an office building and general trade building in a highway business zoning district. The proposed project was an unlisted action pursuant to SECRA, and the Planning Board, by resolution dated August 11, 2022, adopted a negative declaration evidencing that the project will not result in any significant adverse environmental impacts. The project was also modified through this process and the pyramid encroachment reduced. As the premises is narrow and surrounded by commercial buildings and also benefits from pre-existing pyramid violations, this board finds that the application passes the standards set forth in New York State Town Law and the Town Code. Therefore, this board grants relief from Town Code 330-84D, pyramid height, for a proposed encroachment to the amount of 2,996 cubic feet on the west side of the property for the proposed office building, and in the amount of 12,000 cubic feet for the proposed general trade building, as shown on the site plan survey prepared by David H. Fox, Land Surveyor, last dated May 19, 2022, and the plans, elevations, and pyramid sketch prepared by Tina Paris, R.A., last dated March 21st, 2022. Granted, the foregoing relief is subject to such other conditions and permits as applicant has already acquired or may otherwise have to acquire for final approval of the subject premises.
Second.
Mr. Daly?
Aye.
Ms. Kern?
Aye.
Ms. Burgess?
Aye.
Mr. Macedonio?
Aye.
Mr. Tudhill?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Next, I have a determination in the matter of the application of 142 Tow Point LLC. This is for property located at Suffolk County Tax Map Number 959-145. This application is for property located at 142 Tow Point Road, North Sea. The applicant here requests a pyramid variance for a new two-story dwelling and to allow an outdoor kitchen, portion of a deck, and a pool to be located in the total required side yard for the principal building. While the proposed pyramid encroachment was modest at 1,212.3 cubic feet, in response to concerns from the board and the neighbors, the applicant modified the plans to further reduce the pyramid, relocate conforming structures, and increase conforming setbacks to adjacent properties. As modified, this board finds that the application passes the standards set forth in New York State town law and the town code. Therefore, and for the reasons set forth herein, this board grants relief from the following provisions of the town code. 330-84D, pyramid height, for a proposed pyramid encroachment in the amount of 763.1 cubic feet on the east side of the property for a proposed two-story dwelling, and 330-83C, yards, and 330-76D, placement of accessory buildings, structures, and uses in all districts to allow a portion of the proposed deck, outdoor kitchen, and swimming pool to be located within the total required side yard of the principal building, all for structures as shown on the survey prepared by Jeffrey W. Hatterer of Twin Forks Land Surveying, Inc., last revised August 23, 2022, and the plans and elevations prepared by Nazit Ham Architects received by this board September 14, 2022. Granted, the foregoing relief is subject to such other conditions and permits as applicants have already acquired or may otherwise have to acquire for final approval of the subject premises. I know, Susan, you wanted to say a few words before we voted on this one.
Yes, I originally was opposed to this application. I'm very sympathetic to the neighbors and the concerns they had with their property and how it was going to change the character of the neighborhood. But I have to say that, given the accommodations that the applicant has made and the reduction in the pyramid and hopefully, some solid fencing around the pool, as shown in the survey, that I'm now going to be a positive vote.
Okay. Any other comments?
No.
If not, do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Macedonio?
Aye.
Mr. Tudhill?
Aye.
Ms. Burgess?
Aye.
Ms. Kern?
Aye.
Mr. Daly?
No.
Chair votes aye. Next, I have determined in the matter of application of the Paul's Lane Trust. This is for property located at Suffolk County Tax Map Number 900-103-219. This application is for property located at 122 Paul's Lane, Watermill. The applicant here requests variances in connection with a proposed tennis court. After discussion with the board, the applicant reduced the size of the tennis court to 55 by 110. As modified, this board finds that the application passes the standards set forth in New York State town law and the town code. Therefore, this board grants relief from the following provisions of the town code for a proposed 55 by 110-foot tennis court. 33011, Residence District's Table of Dimensional Regulations for an accessory side yard setback of 20 feet where 30 feet is required. 2, 33076D, placement of accessory buildings, structures, and uses in all districts, and 33083C, yards, to allow the proposed tennis court to be located within the required minimum and total side yard for the principal building, as shown on the survey prepared by Lester Holden of Squires Holden, Weisenbacher, and Smith, last revised August 30th, 2022. The grant of the foregoing relief is subject to such other conditions and permits as applicant has already acquired or may otherwise have to acquire for final approval of the subject premises. Do we have a second?
Second.
Ms. Kern?
Aye.
Ms. Burgess?
Aye.
Mr. Daly?
No.
Mr. Macedonio?
Aye.
Mr. Tudhill?
Aye.
Chair votes aye.
One quick second.
Yep,
Adam, the one that you read for
Yep.
40 Ocean View, that was amending the survey?
yep.
Okay, that one we did on September 1st. Like, I gave you the one we did at the last meeting.
Okay.
So
You have a corrected one?
Yeah, I just need you
Okay.
to do that
So,
one.
so first, I'm going to just make a motion to withdraw the prior amended decision for 40 Ocean View Drive LLC.
Just the one that we read tonight, because we already did it.
No, I understand. For the one we read tonight, second, okay. Mr. Macedonio? Mr. Tudhill?
Aye.
Ms. Burgess?
Aye.
Ms. Kern?
Aye.
Mr. Daly?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, so the prior determination is withdrawn, and now I have a replacement determination. This is for the matter of the application of 40 Ocean View Drive LLC for property located at 40 Ocean View Drive in Shinnecock Hills, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 900-271-144. On August 18, 2022, by decision number D022087, this board granted relief in connection with a proposed two-story dwelling. This decision, however, did not refer to the correct date of the floor plans and elevations. Therefore, decision number D022087 is hereby amended to refer to the plans prepared by Brian Glasser, architect, last revised August 9, 2022. All other provisions and conditions of decision number D022087 remain in full force and effect.
Second.
Ms. Kern.
Aye.
Mr. Daly.
Aye.
Mr. Macedonio.
Aye.
Mr. Tudhill.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess.
Aye.
Chair votes aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything else?
Motion to close.
Motion to
Three-week
close.
break now, right? Motion to close.
Motion to close. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We are closed. Thank you, Katie. Thank you, Anthony. Thank you, Candace, even though you're not here. And
Thank you, Ken.